Welcome back, everybody, to Tabletop Tactics. You join me, Chaos Lord Beard, and in today's live stream, I'm of course joined by the best in the business. To my right, we have James Jordan, aka the Bard.
Tally ho!
To my left, we have Michael Hebditch, aka the Chef.
Hello.
And to my left again, we have Mr. Lawrence Baker, aka the Spider, CEO and chairman of the board. And then on the ones and twos, we have the Katie folks, aka the Jinx with an X. Oh, I said the! No, I'm so sorry. What a moron. Never mind. Well, in today's live stream, we're here to talk about several things. The main one being Warhammer Day previews.
Oh. Yeah.
Calais, Warhammer Day.
Very exciting.
Lots of things to talk about there. But first of all, we're going to go on a slight segue and talk about a couple of changes that occur in here in these parts. Partner? Yeehaw!
To be fair, that is the summoning call for Texas Sidewalk.
It is. I wonder if they're watching. Yeah, well, you may have noticed that we didn't have a battle report release on Saturday because it's not because we're not going to release videos anymore. We're just going to trial releasing our battle reports, or what you've come to know as our Saturday release. They're not always a battle report, but often are, on Mondays now.
Monday.
So normally they'll be released around 4 o'clock, whereas traditionally we've done like a 10 o'clock release on the Saturday. And this is good for a couple of reasons for us. It means that when we release a video, we're all present at work. So just in case there's anything wrong, we can, fix it. It also means that it's quite a nice way to kick off the week, isn't it? We thought, why not?
But now they don't.
Now they don't, yeah. Now, of course, if Games Workshop continue to send us, very special secret preview things, then obviously we will switch to a Saturday for those releases. So if you don't get a release on a Monday that week, you'll probably know that there's something going on the Saturday. But generally speaking, we're going to try going forward releasing on a Monday. So that's what's happening there.
Absolutely, and it also seems that the YouTube analysts are telling us that most people tend to watch during the week.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd release stuff during the week.
Yeah,
Seems when you guys are most active, so hopefully you'll be like, yes, this is exactly when I like to watch Tabletop Tactics. So it'll be there for you when you're ready.
Yeah, we're not doing anything that hasn't been looked at in terms of the analytics and the data. And also, if you like watching it on a Saturday, that's cool. It's just going to have come out a few days earlier. You can still save it for your Saturday morning cartoons.
You can still watch it on Saturday.
Because I know there's quite a few people that I like watching it with my kids on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
I used to watch cartoons with my dad, but some people as we've sort of said, you see it in that's when a lot of people are active.
Yeah.
So it's sort of, it's kind of hopefully ticking all the boxes for everyone.
Also, for all the podcast fans on demand, we're shifting to Friday for the podcast. It's
More
not
like-
gone anywhere.
More like Friday.
Friday! So be ready for your weekend, your commutes, that kind of stuff. But just so you know, we sort of shifted it all around. So it'll be coming out on Friday, not Monday this week.
Absolutely.
But see you in the comments then.
And for anyone that does enjoy Saturday morning cartoons or has nostalgia of a time of Saturday morning cartoons, if you have a Samsung TV and you go to channel 4608, it only shows Transformers from the 90s.
Wait, what?
All day.
Amazing.
24 hours a day. It's crazy.
real?
It's real. I know.
Why only on a Samsung TV as well? What do you
Very
mean?
specific.
Samsung have got this Samsung TV live thing that comes with Samsung TVs. There's thousands of channels, and one of them is just 90s Transformers all day.
What?
Yeah.
Is the channel
I
name
have a
just called...
Samsung
It's
TV.
just called Transformers.
Oh, okay. I'm disappointed they just didn't call it Channel 468 Autobots Rollout.
It's amazing. Yeah.
That is amazing.
It's a little public service announcement.
Wow.
I mean, that is probably the best PSA that we've learned from
Yeah.
this
Ever done?
live stream.
My life has changed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of life-changing events, the new schedule starts today. So as soon as this live stream is finished, around about 6 o'clock, this week's battle report will be going live. Live, baby. Monday night is also a big night, isn't it? Monday night is
Fight Night.
Monster Trucks.
Yeah.
Monday night Nitro for wrestling.
Yeah.
Monday night. It was Monday Night Raw. Was that it?
Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, Monday night. Well, yeah, it was Monday. night.
Monday.
Yeah, because Nitro's WCW.
You better be there. Or dead or
It's a
jail.
good battle report to start with as well.
It is a
It
good
is a big
one.
one.
It's a big
Bang up.
bomber. It's a big boomba.
Big old game.
Massive
Big game.
desert ambush.
Oh boy, oh boy. So hello to everybody in the chat. If anyone would like to communicate with us, please do so through the super chat. We will endeavour to do our best to read out all of your comments. Katie is waving in the background in anticipation.
Because we already have super chats, bros.
We do.
Really?
Now,
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I know we're all very fond of the classics like Texas Sidewinder
Yeah. Gotta love
and
Texas
others
Sidewinder.
with great usernames.
Alexis Rose Queen.
Someone has just upped the ante.
Oh, go on. What is it? Tell me. What is it?
We've got a $1.99 super chat that says, I'll say what it says in a minute.
What
The
is
name,
it?
the username is Sloppity Bile Typer.
Oh, outstanding.
Sloppity Bile Typer's here! And Sloppity says, oh, world, baby!
Incredible.
So congratulations, you are now elevated
Well
into the
played.
halls of legend.
It's a great
Sloppity
name.
Bile Typer.
Very
Great
well
name.
played.
We'll come back to
I'm
the
just
super
going to
chats.
close the chat. I'm going to close, that's it, we're done.
Yeah, we'll come back to the super chats themselves because we should
Yeah.
probably talk about Warham days.
We're going to
Yeah.
get through a couple of bits. Katie, please let me know if I forget any of these, but I'm going to do my best to not do that. So, why don't we talk about the reveals?
Okay.
Big reveals from
do it.
Warhammer Day.
Yeah.
Where do we start?
We're going to
start
start
at the beginning?
We're going to start with Warhammer for 40,000.
Okay.
There were two reveals.
There was.
One of which was for the Admech, one of which was for the Necrons.
Mm-hmm.
The first one, obviously we're getting a new codex, which is very exciting for the Admech, but we've also got a new model, which is the Skitarii Scatros, aka the Scatman.
Yeah. Or Dr. Gadget. What's his name?
Inspector Gadget.
Inspector
Gadget,
Gadget,
yeah.
on his massive stilts.
Yes,
now,
right.
I'd like a quick go around the room to see what people. I have an opinion of the model. I'd like to get everyone's hot takes on this new Skitarii model, starting off with Yao.
Starting off with Yao.
With you.
With Yao.
You over there.
Okay. Right. Looked at the model. The immediate thing I noticed, of course, were the stilts. Like, well, really so.
Don't look at the stilts. Don't look at the stilts.
Really like the sort of the sniper goggles, and then the whole Admech face going on. Really like the rifle. Really like that it's holding a round with its hands.
This
that's
creepy little
cool, yeah.
put it in the chamber.
I actually basically really like it. I like everything from, I guess, the knee up. The
Stilt up, please.
Yeah, stilts up. I think the stilts don't quite sit right with me personally. I think I get the concept. I think, oh yeah, okay, cool. And this is where I'd like to hand over to Chef, because you came up with an awesome suggestion as to what it could have been instead. Because I think the sculpt is really cool, and I think the gun's really cool, and the concept of this sniper for the Admech kind of makes sense, doesn't it? But what it should have been instead of stilts is...
Yeah, so I agree with you. I think from the top...
I don't want to steal the idea of
the
this guy,
goggles and
really.
the helmet aspect of it are just spot on.
Yeah.
And I think, was it you or you? I can't remember. It was one of you two that said it's basically like, it's going to be from some random bit of John Blanche artwork.
Yeah.
It's just something in the background.
Yeah.
And, like that. And the thing is, I think it's amazing because it is so stupid. It goes all the way back round to, this is 40k. Like, this is 40k in a nutshell. It's so dumb, it doesn't make any sense. Why would they do this? Because they can and they're the Admech. However, I thought that it would be better because I saw a comment, I think it was on Reddit, and it was basically, you could get the exact same effect by taking a ranger and sticking him on a really tall rock.
Yes.
And it's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
So
I told him your idea.
So I went further from that, and it was kind of utilizing what like the Games Workshop have recently done with some of like the assault marines, like with the way that they're connected to stuff, and what Fletcher did with one of his Farsight commanders, which you can see what he's done if you go to On Demand, which is how it's possible to do stuff like this anyway, where he did a Farsight commander attached to a bit of ruin. And you use that, and Games Workshop can get very clever with it, where he's flying along on the proper like circular Da Vinci backpack.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Another sort of way of looking at it is, did you ever play Ratchet and Clank?
Yep.
Yeah, baby, that's a
Yep.
great
The
game.
helicopter pack.
Yeah.
Just something like that.
Because that leaning into that whole Da Vinci vibe, which
Yeah.
they did with the
They did it
Archaeocop,
with
the
the Straxi
Stratoraptor.
and the Stratoraptors, because they've got wings, but they've got the struts. and
Thinking
stuff.
of
It
Ratchet and
actually
Clank.
would have been a really cool way to go.
Imagining like a servitor on the back with propellers for arms. sort of like strap some sort of weird human thing. And like,
you can still do it. It is a conversion opportunity.
Yeah. And he's just like, he's there and he's floating along. He's got like the whirly whirly gigs going on, and he's taking the shot like that whilst he's sort of like almost like sitting in the air. Like you could do something really cool with it. I did like what you came up with as well with the stilts.
Because I at first seeing it, I was like, it's a 2 J's out of 5. I'm sorry. I was like, I'm not sold.
It was only a 2.
For me, it was in the same category as like the ATVs and some of the other things and the Desolator Marines. I was like, is it too much? But then I was like, because it's AdMech, for me, it's maybe the pose that doesn't quite sell it for me.
Right.
Because he's so stationary. Yeah. I was imagining if he had some sort of rock face next to him, because he's as a character, you could have one stilt that's like, they're like sprung loaded. So one's fully retracted to get his like leg up and the other one's all the way down.
Yeah, to show how it makes him good in terrain.
So he's like crawling through a mountain range to get the perfect shot, as opposed to just sort of stood there like, I've got stilts. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like almost the legs move in tandem, very like spider-like, of like extending legs to get purchased.
You could get a Dr. Octopus almost.
Like between
that
two rocks kind of thing. Yeah.
In fact, if he had something which
almost
held him aloft.
They lock him in place so you can get the perfect shot.
And that would be quite an AdMech / thing.
Yeah. I think it's in Mad Max Fury Road, but like some of them are like the stilts
like the
on the cars.
Stiltwalker people.
Yeah, like the Stiltwalker people,
right.
and then they're leaning on the big spikes on the cars. It's like gives them a weird angle to be able to shoot stuff with.
Yes.
There was another thing that I saw, which was a really good counter argument, which was based to the stilt model, which was Dishonored did it first. The Tall Boys.
The Tall Boys.
And if you've ever if you've not played Dishonored, it's fantastic. Go and play it. But it's that kind of that concept can absolutely work because it's weird.
It's really creepy.
And it is, and the AdMech are weird. Like all the armies, the AdMech should have the most wacky things going on. That's the whole point. It's mad science gone wrong, basally.
/ borderline actually quite creepy.
Yeah, right. You know, I mean, like was the even like the Iron Striders. It's like what are they? Well, they're a perpetual motion engine powered by a servitor, and you go, that's pretty messed up, actually. Like they could have done it, and I think because they've got the sort of the mask going, it's almost like a Plague Doctor-esque with the goggles and the sort of like the rebreather, and then it's and it's I think it is ruined by the pose. I think you're going to get a lot of people that will do clever things with it, and all of a sudden it'll be much better.
It'll be really cool. Yeah.
Like I really like it because it's so stupid.
Yeah. I think it's I'm now leaning to a 3 J's out of 5. That's my
well, I mean, the model. The model's great. It's just the stilts they're not what I would have done. But I mean, you also look. I mean, I'm not going to make any fans by saying I would also not have Space Marine bikes. You know, so for me, like, and something which doesn't practically work. I like my Grim Dark to have at least the tangibility that maybe it could work.
Sure.
But I also get that you could just go the other way and just make it as silly as possible and embrace it anyway.
I kind of dig it. I think it's kind of cool.
It's interesting, for sure.
I agree that the pose is very straight. I think if it had a little bit of forward movement, a little bit, especially if you had 3 of them walking like forwards.
Why are there a
really
character?
Yeah, stalking.
Like a unit of 3 of them would be, and then you could have different poses. Like you could have one stood there, you could have one leaning up against it, and you could have one in. Like imagine one of them moving. It would look so weird.
There is definitely, for sure.
I can kind of picture like a small squad of them, like through the jungle, like making clicking noises at each other, like.
Like like the Big Daddy Longleg things from the latest Kong movie.
Daddy Longlegs?
Yeah, it's the Skull Island one, the one with Tom Hiddleston.
I've not seen that.
Have you not? It's not a bad film actually, but they're like the soldiers are going through like the forest, and then they're like you can hear like these. Yeah, and they look up, and it's basically just a giant spider. It just goes kadoong, and it like just picks them up. Oh, it's horrible. You would die if you watched it.
Thank you. Die.
I will also say this as well. It might be one of those situations where you get. I've had this with quite a few kits. You get the model in person, you go, oh no, that's actually.
I get it now.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't quite translate either through paint job or through just the the 2D element of being.
We also don't know if it's monopose, if there's some adjustment in the legs.
That's right.
That'd be cool. Potentially.
Overall, I am a fan. There's just one thing I would change, basically.
I'd tweak it. What does Katie think? What does Jinx think?
Yeah, what do you think?
I just think it's neat.
All right, Marge.
I saw it come up and I was like, oh, that's cute.
You know you've made it as a Games Workshop model designer when this, like, here's this really grim, dark servant. He's been lobotomized and answers only to the Mechanicus priest. I think he's cute.
I saw the stilts. I was like, that looks quite nice. I wouldn't mind some stilts like that.
Might be able to reach something on the tabletop.
Exactly.
That's a really good idea. Right, before we get into the next one, we'll go through some super chats, shall we?
Okay,
Super
sure.
chat.
Yeah.
Jan Morton Strand has got in touch saying, no changes! The channel must be put in stasis and never change.
We'll
That sounds like an ad net
Which is-
type of thing
yeah,
to do. It's what they
yeah.
did to Gilliman, wasn't it?
He'll be fine.
It'd be fine. Yeah, honestly, if we didn't change anything, we'd still be in your kitchen.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. And look, if it's a disaster, we'll just move back to Saturday.
It
So
won't
it's
be
really
a disaster.
Also, it doesn't affect the amount of content.
No, it's still the
you're
exact
still
same.
getting
We've
the
just
exact
literally
same
switched from
amount.
Saturday to Monday.
Yeah.
And if you just watch on a Saturday, nothing changes.
Yeah. You're either going to get it 2 days later or 4 days earlier, depending on your perspective.
Oh, glass half full over there. Yeah, also, most things I watch on YouTube, I just go to watch later and have my little library.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Little library
I
things
never
to-
used that.
I put it on in the car.
use
Well, I don't
that.
watch it in the car. I listen to stuff in the car.
Yeah.
Probably wise.
Like a
This is good.
podcast element.
Yeah, there's stuff in the car. Yeah,
cool.
so you can do that too. Stu B. Keep up the great work, Adeptus Bostodes. I've lost internet at home, so downloaded a back catalogue of battle reports. Keep me going until back online.
Awesome.
Marvelous.
Strong.
Great shout.
Thank you very much, Stu B, for your generous donation. Yeah, and you too could download our back catalogue through our app, which is available right now on the App Store or the Google Play Store. You can just download everything on our app. It's great. Backstage membership. Get them
It's
perks.
amazing.
Hundreds of videos.
Baby. Muffin Baskets. Another strong name.
That's a good name.
a
I
good
like
name.
that.
Can't wait to face AdMech players with 2 stilts on a base and a flying ranger on the base, lol. What? Oh, because
gonna
they have the
put it on the
model
base.
just.
Oh yeah,
lying
I
around.
did see someone put up a thing in the on Facebook somewhere, and it was basically like the model that they showed off, the model that everyone is going to actually have, and it's just like the stilts broken off and the model on the floor.
Snapped in twain.
Yeah.
I fear it may be.
He looks like a
It's been-
flimsy boy.
Painting that's going to be fun. Snap.
Oh God.
Flim Flammables. I've lost my place, you big
I'm
moron.
up-
There's
I'm up
been
to
loads of
date.
super chats. Good grief.
Are you up to date, Katie?
I'm up to date if you want
I
to
know,
have
right?
it. You got it?
Crazy Shack
Well done.
48.
Hey.
It's the side project of Crazy Town. Thank you for your donation, first of all. Good morning, TT. Must be from the States.
Good morning.
Hopefully Bard wasn't in casualty too long after seeing that Lord Relictor.
Oh, we'll get on to that
Chaplain
later.
on a dragon.
on to
Also, I like the Imatech sculpt, but the paint was dull. Looking forward to seeing Fletcher work his magic.
Yeah, I think Fletcher could do an amazing bit of grimdark on that. I think.
Yeah, I have thoughts on Imatech as well.
Shall we talk about him right now?
Yeah, well, he is like he is. Then we've covered the 40k side of things.
Why don't you go ahead?
Yeah.
You with the
I
thoughts.
think-
thoughts.
It's a very cool model. However, again, I agree with the paint job, and it doesn't help the bombshell you dropped in our last live stream of that it starts making all the Necron characters look very similar.
They are similar.
I know they're similar, but I feel like there's something they could do to just, even with the basing, or give them. The pose is very, again, like. Eh.
Hey,
They could have a bit more, like, I don't know, they could be doing something different. Like, what's the Dr. Murdercrab MD?
Cesaraz.
But give him absorbing someone's head on the base. Give him a little bit of point of difference.
They did something very, very new for Imotech. He's standing on a Necron tactical rock.
Yeah, right. I just feel it's a really cool model. I just was hoping they might spice it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But it keeps in keeping with the rest of the model range, which is really strong.
Yeah, I think I quite like the model. It's not it's not changed my whole world, but I think, to be honest with you, a lot of that's down to the paint style. I've always liked my Necrons darker and more glowy and more eerie, and obviously the standard box art style is very clean and doesn't really lend to that, whereas I would like the Necrons to be super sinister, as I think they should be. So I reckon actually the model's model painted in the style that I like, which again is obviously complete personal taste, will slap. It will be amazing. It will look really good. But yeah, I mean, you know, I really liked the Murder Crab. He's probably one of my favourite Necron models because he's just so different.
He's
as
very
well,
cool.
You know.
What does our resident overlord think?
I think the paint job. Now I'm normally just like, the paint job. Like wait until you can see a paint job for them in real life, because heavy metal painting is very, very different to everyone else's painting because it is done for photos. I actually think the paint job is one of the best ones I've seen for a long time. It is super crisp. I think the model sucks.
Oh, really?
It's so boring.
So you like the paint job, but not so much
Yeah,
the model.
I like the paint job from it's a nice crisp model. I think the a nice crisp paint job. I think the model itself is super boring because it's just the old. Like I get what they're going for, and they've been doing it a lot recently, where it's like, let's take the old, which is beloved, and tweak it to make it modern. The Terminators, I think it works really well on because it's such an iconic thing. Who really cares about what's his name?
Imhotep the Stormlord.
That's it.
He's the Stormlord.
Yeah. But it's like, but
It's always raining where he is.
always been.
It is. It brings the rain with him.
It's like it's just kind of meh.
You make a really good point, though. I think someone called Imhotep the Stormlord shouldn't be meh.
Yeah, just like I get it because his model's always been like that, and he's always been like quite regal and stuff.
Yeah.
But also,
There's a lot of regal characters.
exactly, and it's like I'd rather they lent into, because in his fluff he's like the best tactician that the Necrons have, and he's fighting a civil war against the Silent King because he basically was just like, no, you betrayed our entire race. But also he's got this hyperlogical thing, and it's like he's probably the smartest character in terms of battlefields to sort of stuff, maybe second only to like Bobby G and the Lion. But then he's overcome by, you see that guy over there? And his overlords are like, the guy in the massive gold armor with the huge broadsword yelling, burn the heretic, the mutant, the witch, and the alien, running around with like 10 sword brethren because his name is Marshal Herbert. Yeah, I'm gonna go fight him in combat and cut his hand off because then I can prove that I'm better than him, as well as, and it's like, I'd like to see that. I would have liked to have seen almost that element translated into the model. Yeah, a little bit. Like he's not a fighty character, but in the fluff, it's very weird. I don't know. I just think, like the problem is it's Necron characters are all doing this.
Yeah,
every single one, apart from Cesaraz, who is like weird, sucking the brains out. And they're all pretty. All the cryptex are floaty. All of the overlords are standy, and there's no real difference to them in any way, shape, or form, and it's just a bit boring.
I'd like to see some characters that look like they've been through the wars a bit, because they've been around for a while.
Yeah.
I'd like to, because in the 9th edition box, a lot of the troops are very knackered, so they're broken, the bits hanging out. That would be cool to see on
I think
like
the
a battle wizened.
Yeah, I think the Scorpec Lord has like bits like
like an eye
chopped off his
blown out
face.
or something.
I think I get why they've done it, because obviously it's a fine cast character, but I'd have rather have seen like a proper manic looking Destroyer Lord.
Yeah.
Like, proper he's on the a proper Locus one, like on the floaty platform, but like modify it slightly. He's got like 2 blade arms, and just have it like go really into that sort of wacky. It's why I kind of like Stilt Boy.
Yeah,
it's just a bit weird, and that's kind
and it's very different.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you go like 10 out of 10 for originality. It is different.
Imhotep is, I'm sure it's a nice model, but it's nothing. It's nothing new. It's nothing world.
Yeah, it didn't shake my world or anything. Yeah. But it's okay. It's okay. I mean, and I say this as well, like just so that everyone's clear, like the heavy metal, the box art, the paint jobs, in my opinion, are incredible. Like these are really talented individuals painting them. It's just for me a style, a taste thing. It's just I would prefer it darker, I guess, rather than so clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, every metal paint job is super clean.
Yeah.
Because it has to be. It's for photos.
Yeah.
It's for selling.
Really
you wouldn't take a picture of if you were working for like Apple, well, I mean, you guys did. You wouldn't have taken a picture of a refurbished iPhone with all the scratches on the back.
No.
You'd be like, no, buff that out.
No, exactly.
I think now, especially you go on the GW website, and any of the main models you can click on and have a completely 360 view of the whole thing.
Yeah, which is amazing.
So you've got to have a ridiculously sharp paint style that shows off every little detail.
Absolutely.
And they're incredible at that. So I know what you mean though.
Incredible.
All right.
Should we move on to some more super chats?
Sure, let's do it.
We've concluded 40k.
Yeah, that was 40k.
Yeah, there's no dates or anything about
didn't
indexes,
mention.
codexes or anything like that.
No.
They said it was AdMech first, then it was Necrons. They gave like little tidbits to what's coming. Like they showed a little preview of one of the detachment abilities for the AdMech. They sort of mentioned that there's a couple of, it's like, there's a really big hoo-ha in the Necron community. It's like, they're saying there's 47 data sheets. We've currently got 50. What are they removing? And people are just like, they're going to remove destroyers. They're going to remove transcendent guitars because you're going to... And I'm like, they're probably going to remove the free Finecast characters that haven't got a plastic model yet. So you could probably say goodbye to Nemesis Andrak, what's his name? Trazin and Vargard Oberon because... There's a rumor engine which looks like a Catan's scythe, which please give me the Nightbringer. I need him in my life.
I knew Nightbringer.
Now that plastic Nightbringer, that would have been much more interesting to show than Imhotep the boring man.
I'd love to see a plastic Deceiver as well.
Look, if they did a multi-part Catan kit,
You could do all of them.
It would be really cool.
especially given that the Void Dragon is amazing. But
Void Dragon's amazing.
they showed a couple of the little rules off, but like they didn't mention anything, date-wise.
Earth-shattering.
No.
Imagine if you did Shatter the Earth. Right, we're going to get through a few of these very quickly. Chris Chinnock, thank you very much for your very first super chat.
Thank you, Chris.
The stilts are giving him grim, Dark Wars and Grommet vibes, which is very
I
nice.
love
That
that.
is the AdMech.
That's my favourite comment we've
Lots
had.
of sense. Lots of sense. Next up, we've got one from Legio9 Hispana. Thank you very much. I joined On Demand 5 months ago. Been hooked. It got me back into Warhammer. Loving 10th edition. Keep it up. PS, any info on La Liga?
Amazing. Thank
The
you
League.
for your on-demand support.
thank you.
Yes.
League is very soon.
It is soon.
So soon, in fact, we started filming it. So when I
Indeed.
say very
Goodness.
soon, I mean very, very soon.
Imminently.
Yeah. The belt is up for grabs.
It is.
Indeed.
Yeah. It's very exciting. It's
It
really
is.
cool. Really, really cool.
Bit of a different twist this time,
That's
but
right.
you'll be seeing all about this stuff.
Twist is I'm just rolling average.
More of an
Unprecedented
in-house
times.
tournament, but it's still got a league aspect. You'll see.
Paul is bad at stuff. Thank you for your super chat. They did the fluff well with the stilt sniper. It will remain unmoving forever because you'd never be able to transport him without breaking his legs. Warmaster Iraz. Knowing how silly AdMech is, I bet the stilts aren't even for height advance. They look like they have built-in suspension, so it's probably for the recoil of the rifle. Oh, hello. In the Gene Father, in the
He's
Gene
actually
Father,
a wacky inflatable tube man. He just bang.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets knocked back. Boing.
That's very cool. It's Mr. McGee.
Mr.
Mr. McGee.
Thank
The
you.
director McGee.
Thank you for your very first super chat on this live streamy.
Thank you.
You got there's a little one and a balloon. This is a celebration for Mr. McGee. You guys got me back into the hobby after 22 years.
A long time. Welcome back.
Cool. Now with adult money, I have gone all in on Grey Knights and an airbrush. So thanks. I think. Yeah, sorry about that.
But not really.
Spent all of his adult money. Oh no,
Lost
I've
the Grey
lost
Knights.
my place.
I
Lost your place.
I've found it
Jam
again.
Morton Strand.
Thank you. Jam Morton Strand says, kind of low effort on the 40th anniversary of Warhammer Day. Disagree, we'll talk about that in a minute. Would have expected more stuff. What they did show was good. They saved the best till last, but we'll be talking about that in a little bit.
I'm curious what you're going to talk about.
The thing. Matthew Tribble.
Hello,
You're going to talk about Matthew
chat.
Tribble?
First super chat. So many first
Thank you
super
very
chats. I
much.
appreciate all of you with your
Welcome
first
back,
super
you
chat.
first timers.
Thank you. TT Toe Hype. Toe Hype?
The old world.
TT the old world hype.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
TT toe hype.
TT Toe Hype.
See, now,
Hashtag that straight away. Trademark that.
see, now that's ruined it. He's just like, what are you playing? Oh, you're playing 40k. What are you playing? Sigma. What are you playing? Toe?
Yeah, toe. But wouldn't it be?
Not my toes.
Wouldn't it be like
Disgusting.
more toe?
No, toe.
The old world.
Like a
No,
towboat.
yeah, I get
Toe
it,
it.
yeah.
Who's playing what army? I'm not really decided yet. I'd like to play
the old
Bretonia
world?
with the army.
We're going to have a
There's
fight.
an in-house-
Unfortunately, there's
over it, I
8
think.
Bretonian players in this.
Well, I'm going to go Empire actually.
Yeah.
And also Vampire Counts. I know Vampire Counts aren't officially, well, they are officially supported in terms of Games Workshop said that they will release rules for the factions which aren't prevalent at that time. But we don't know any more beyond that.
Yeah,
But
to be fair,
Vampire
that
Counts and
is
Empire.
basically the 2 armies that you would have done in Old World.
Yeah.
Dark Elves and Empire.
Yeah, correct. Basically, yeah. Well, you mean vampires. But yeah, Dark Elves.
What did I say?
You said Dark Elves.
Dark Elves
Because
and...
there are Dark
Did
Elves.
I say Dark Elves and vampires?
No, you said Dark Elves and Empire.
Oh, I meant
va-
vampires.
Yeah,
Vampire,
vampires.
Empire, they
yeah.
all end in per.
It's true.
Tomato, tomato.
Yeah.
But no one says potato.
Poor potatoes.
Yes, we'll come back to the or toe in a bit. Shadowkin. You guys love Pariah Nexus series as much as me. I haven't watched it, but it looks really good.
I really want to see
I've
it.
heard it's good. Not watched it, don't have Warhammer.
I probably should just subscribe to Warhammer Plus.
I have Warhammer Plus.
have strong
I haven't
feelings
watched
on Warhammer
Pariah
Plus.
Nexus though.
I haven't
Yet.
watched. I haven't even watched Blood Angels one.
The Blood Angels one's amazing.
Oh, that's so
it's
good.
incredible.
So
Yeah,
good.
it's incredible.
Need to watch.
It's very good.
Really good. Yeah.
Right, here we are. Nadek! Hi all! Lately, some creators mentioned that views for 40k are down on YouTube. Do you think it's because 10th is not liked that much or any other reason?
I think there's many reasons involved with that. You actually
I can
touched
talk
upon
about
it.
this, yeah, I
you
can-
touched upon it in a chat with Mr. Stephen
Touch
Parker.
again, won't you?
I did. I can't speak for other channels. Like in terms of views for us, it's the same.
Yeah.
In fact, I mean, if you go back, years into previous editions, we're getting more views now than we've ever had before. So that's put that myth away.
And thank you all for watching.
Yes,
It's
thank
only
you very
because of
much.
you.
You lovely people.
Keep doing it.
I think
Please.
maybe there's definitely if you go to certain places on the internet, there's definitely this perception that 10th is not liked. So thank you for the comment and the question because you're sort of voicing what you might hear in the rumor mills and various parts of the internet. I think there's been quite a lot of negativity. Weirdly as well from quite a lot of content creators which have gone, oh, this is no good, or it's broken, or it's this, it's that. But the funny thing is, and this is what I sort of said to Pardo, who I'm good friends with over at SM Battle Reports, you can check out their channel if you don't know who they are, is that weirdly, the negativity with 10th sort of happened before it was even released because it got leaked everywhere, and it all stems from one place, which is competitive play. Like, it's not balanced out of the gate. I could just take this unit and paste it X amount of times, and I'm going to slaughter everyone because I'll use the fate dice to my advantage. And here's the thing, and I think where the negativity comes in is often people will go, oh, well, this is the worst edition ever. There's always these massive headlines. Maybe they haven't played as long as me, maybe they don't remember the end of 5th edition or the end of 7th edition with Psychic Death Stars, which you could only hit on 6s, and all sorts of things which have happened ad infinitum with the history of 40k. And again, it all comes down to, if you only play it ultra competitively, then you might not have the best experience. Guess what? It's never been balanced for ultra competitive. It's never been balanced, like ever. And I've been playing since 2nd edition. There's always been a boogeyman. There's always been some horrible combination. I think, and as I said to Stephen, for me, it's a game of toy soldiers. There's an incredible amount of fun to be had. 10th edition plays actually really, really well. It's a pleasure to play. I don't have 50 books and all of the stratagems and gotchas that I have to worry about, in previous editions. It's easy to make lists. Are there bugbears that I have with it? Absolutely. I wish that the granularity of the points were back. That's my biggest, that's the first thing I would change. If I could.
The game is nowhere near perfect.
No, but they did index everything. They relaunched every single army, and I'm having some of the most fun games I've had in a long time playing 40k. If you choose to run the competitive builds, which are obviously unbalanced, then you're probably not going to have fun.
Yeah.
And there it is, because if you're playing to ultimately win at all costs by taking the best thing, and your opponent doesn't stand a chance, well, that's probably not going to be fun for you.
It's
probably not going to be fun for them. So maybe don't play it that way.
It's also one of those things as well where you go for so many years, people, and when I say so many years, I mean since the end of 8th edition when competitive 40k really took off, and I mean really took off.
Yes.
Like competitive 40k has been around for pretty much since what I would say 2nd edition.
Yeah,
maybe
people
3rd.
have played the game
Throne of Skulls used to
competitively.
be the tournament to go
That's right,
to.
yeah.
Throne of Skulls is now go for fun.
Yeah.
And then the GT is the big one. So competitive 40k has been a thing for years and years and years and years and years. But it's only really been massive since towards the end of 8th edition. And people are going, oh, well, for years and years and years, like, it's not been balanced. And it's like, well, it's always not been balanced. But these are also the same people saying, like, what Games Workshop should do is release every single codex all at once, and the game would be brilliant. And you go, no, because this is what happens. Yeah. Everyone goes, I've got all the information all at once. That's the best thing. Run that.
Yeah.
And then the game, and the reason why people are saying it's a really bad edition is because it's actually quite stale. It's not because it's bad, it's because it's stale. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's boring because it's a dice game, but you can kind of look at stuff and go, I know X, I know Y.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it also just comes down to that it's, interestingly, you guys did a podcast episode on it about the feedback loop.
Yeah, we did, and also we've got one coming out, I think, this Friday, where you raised a really interesting article by Jervis Johnson in, 2002?
Yeah.
When he was
fascinating.
like, everyone just needs to calm down about competitive, this game's about having fun.
It's kind of, he's basically saying you're kind of wrecking it.
Yeah, if you're going to go super hardcore competitive, you kind of got to accept that you're pushing it to its limit, so therefore it might break. Yeah. Whereas if you're just like, I want to go have fun with my friends, you can have a good time. Yeah. And I would say 10th is probably the most fun it's been in a while. Yes. Because you don't stick your head out and just get obliterated by stuff unless you're against
And you can tone your elder lists down to have fun against the person that doesn't have, I choose what dice roll I want to make in that moment, for example.
Yeah, there's definitely that aspect of self-fulfilling prophecy as well, because you've got people saying like, 10th edition's really bad, 10th edition sucks, it's the worst thing ever. Why is no one watching stuff? Why is no one doing stuff? Why does no one want to play 10th edition at my local gaming club, even though I spent the last two, I had that from someone. They messaged me and they said, how do you think I could get people playing in 10th edition again? It's like, well, have you tried doing this? Well, no, because we spent the first month and a half saying how bad it was. I'm like, that's probably why no one wants to play it anymore, my dude.
Yeah, there was some unfortunate, very short-term strategies from certain channels and places on the internet where they're like, right, let's get some views, let's do negatives and freak everyone out. And that inadvertently put people off 10th edition. But I think with a bit of a
get enough of that echo chamber saying something's terrible, then people start to believe it.
I saw something the other day. Someone said like, so I've just picked up this. I've just picked up the starter box for Tyranids, and I'm seeing loads of people saying that this unit's bad, this unit's bad, this unit. I'm like, you've not even played yet. You've not even started.
It's
you've not
such
even
a tragedy.
Model onto in glued together, and you've got people saying this is rubbish. You're stupid for picking it up. And it's just like, one, don't tell someone that they're stupid for playing or picking something. Let people enjoy things. Yeah. But it's also like, come on, I get you don't want to buy something that might be a bit rubbish, because no one likes to lose badly. No one likes to be absolutely tossed around the table and go, oh well, I didn't even get a chance to do anything. We had all of that in 9th edition, thank you very much.
But this is where the social contract comes in. I've spoken, this is what I'm trying to articulate to you guys. Say your new buddy's gotten this latest Tyranids unit because they liked it because it looked cool.
Mm-hmm. That's always the
your toy. You want to play with toy soldiers you like. Yeah. Oh, shock horror. Yeah. Well, if you're the more experienced player and you're rocking the elder,
maybe don't take free night spinners.
Yeah, just go, cool. Well, let's build a list around what you've got to make it a game. It's a social contract thing. And by the way, this is not me bagging on competitive, because as long-time subscribers will know, I've played competitive. I played really competitive. I've done well at events in the past. And I can play that way and enjoy that too. But every time that I do it, I always go, knowing that that's what I'm getting into. Exactly, you choose your way to play.
You break it.
You choose your way to play and then enjoy that way to play. I know, even if I dip back into competitive now, I would immediately eliminate half the factions in the game because they're not good enough. So then that my pool, because I'd start meta chasing again, my pool of armies of what I'd want to take seriously competitively would be reduced, but that would be okay if I choose to do that. But it's a choice, right? I say with 10th right now, if you play the game for fun and build lists with your friends that are like-minded, you're going to have an amazing time. It plays really, really well. As I said, we're having some of the best games that we've had in a long time. Furthermore, our league, which we're filming now, it is a competitive league within the restrictions that we've made. We're having a great time playing it. Again, you can do competitive within your bubble. I've met a fan the other day. It's got a group of 40 players playing in Ohio. They're all on the same page. They've got their own league going. You know, it can happen. Don't listen to the negativity too much. Choose the way that you play. Get your buddies around you that play the same way, and you'll have a great time.
Well said. Very good. And thank you to Narek for that very thought-provoking super chat. I'm going to do one more super chat before we move on to the next thing from our boy Chris Frozen. Hey! The boy Chris Frozen. Good afternoon, legends. Good afternoon to you legend. Obviously, a very happy Chris for new Necrons. Chris loves Necrons.
He does like a Necron.
So you're moving to Monday and Friday. Don't forget, #Cast of Players Day.
Yeah.
Coming back, baby.
Coming back.
Coming back. Oh, I'm excited for Cast of Players. Come on now. Woo!
Process has begun. If you follow us on social media, you would have seen that the characters are being released that have been painted by Fletcher.
Yes.
All the terrain ready?
Cheeky! I need to come up with a name for my character because I can't settle on one. Right, we're going to go back to Warhammer Day in a second. There are some more super chats to get back to. You guys give me some more super chats. I want to talk to you all immediately, but we'll come back to you shortly. So, going back to Warhammer Day, we have some Age of Sigmar stuff. Yeah. We have Giant Chaplain on Dragon, aka the First Lord Relictor Iona's Cryptborn.
Now,
It's really cool.
Very cool.
now that's a chaplain.
Yeah, it's
I know it's not a chaplain.
It is,
but that's what I wanted out of the Terminator chaplain, really.
Yeah.
I wanted a really gnarly skull face, which he does have. I mean, granted, you can't put necessarily a 40k character on a dragon. That would be nice.
I mean, you absolutely could. The Exodites.
I know.
Yes.
All right.
You could have a Stiltman. I could
This
have
is your
Exodites.
dream. This is your dream army.
Yeah,
I know.
We've got Stiltman. We've got plenty of Stiltmen for you. They're
want
called the Skitarii Scatman.
I want Eldar on dragons.
But this is a fantastic model.
I don't want to alarm you. Looking at that, you could totally cut him off from the waist up and use his top half as the chaplain.
I'm sharpening my knives already.
He's very cool.
He's very cool.
He's very, very cool indeed. We've also got his dragon brethren, do we? Yeah, there's some other little dragons as well.
Yeah, they're like a bit gnarlier, the dragons as well.
Yeah. It feels a bit like they're trying to go a bit darker with the Stormcast,
Yeah.
I think, making them a bit less shiny.
I mean,
The Relictors were always
Yeah.
a bit more sinister anyway.
Yeah.
The Stormcaster are a really interesting one as well because it is that sort of, it's very similar to Space Marines in a way. Like anyone that doesn't know the lore will look at them and go, they're clearly the good guys because they're so shiny. And then you actually read the lore and you go, oh no, they are terrible, terrible creatures. They are horrible.
Bad, not good.
Much like all of the Age of Sigmar thing, like, oh, it's just World of Warcraft, but Warhammer. It's like, I mean, I can kind of get that comparison, but it's also like, there's some grim stuff in there. Sigmar does what Sigmar always does. It goes, oh, here's this really cool model. This is better.
Yeah.
Like every Sigmar model just is so good.
Rules-wise, you mean?
No.
just the-
Well, yeah.
the
Well, I mean,
design.
rules-wise, I'm sure that he is bananas.
I've no idea.
I have no idea. I'm sure he is absolutely bananas, way too powerful for his points, much like all Sigmar, because Battletome Bloat is a thing. But I mean, model-wise, you go like, Stiltman, Storm Bloke, that.
Yeah,
it's oh my god, it's good.
Yeah, I agree. The design of Sigmar miniatures is just bonkers
crazy.
good. It's bonkers good. Yeah.
No, I'm personally not so sure about the other one. We have Belthanos, First Thorn of Kurnoth.
This is a tree man riding a giant beetle. Come on now.
I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool.
He's a big tree on a big, I don't know, man.
That's the Silver S5. That's what they do.
Like they've gone a bit too far.
I think it would have been slightly
He's got no
better
feet.
if they'd have gone down the route kind of like with Drycha Hydra, where it's the elven spirit and the tree sort of aspect. Yeah. So rather than be like he's basically a tree man riding a beetle, if he was almost like the Revenant spirits, where it's like he's half elf, like almost like cursed in a tree riding it. Right. Because the whole point is he's like the spear of Kurnoth, who is effectively who is the elven god of the hunt and is in Sigmar, but
Keeper
Orion.
Of the secret herbs and spices.
Exactly. The what now?
Keeper of the secret herbs and spices.
Oh, like the 30 blend. So like that was good. I approve of that.
Don't disrespect my lady like that.
But like so they could have gone down the more like trying to blend the Sylvaneth and the Elven aspect of it and introduce the latest sort of Elven subtype in Sigmar.
quite a cool model. I just can't unsee Bug's life, and I don't know why. But it's
a beautiful
me.
butterfly.
He's a big beetle. He's a very cool looking beetle. I reckon he'd do some damage.
Yeah.
But
Anything like that for me is great because that is just Sigma in a nutshell. It's like, what are you going to do? We're going to put a tree in a beetle. Oh, okay, that sounds. And then they do it, and they go OTT, and it's fantastic. They turn that dial up to 11.
I like that he's got a big horn.
Yeah.
He's like, that's
Yeah,
fun.
he's horned up and ready to go. I don't know. He's okay. I think I prefer if they were separate. It's just sort of like pen, apple pen. And that was this guy. But it's okay. And apologies, dear viewer. We would love to have these images flashing up. In future, we're going to have lots of things come up as we're talking about them, but that's for another time. Yes, that's the Sigma stuff.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I'm presuming there are also new battle tomes.
I think there's
These are the Dawnbringer books?
Dawnbringer
stuff.
Crusades, yeah.
Is it like
It's
so
coming out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the same with big.
It's the Psychic Awakening end of edition. Here's a bunch of supplements.
Yeah.
Although then you've still got the poor flesh eater courts going, can I have my battle time? No! Get back in your corner, you silly Bretonian!
We're going to go back to the super chat shortly, but we're just going to cover the other thing before the big thing. Which is Kill Team Salvation, which is reintroduce the Striking Scorpions.
Yeah.
Holy moly!
Good googly moogly, they've done it.
Only taken 1,000 years to get
Yeah.
the plastic scorpions.
The Aspect Warriors are on their way back. Now, I wasn't a fan of the last ones, which are the
Dark Reapers.
Dark
Reapers.
Reapers. Didn't like them.
Right.
I do like the Striking Scorpions.
I quite like them
I
too.
love the striking scorpions.
I started off thinking, yeah, and I was like, actually no, but now I'm like, yeah.
Do you like the Howling Banshees as well, which is also the last?
I like the Howling
I do like Howling Banshees are great.
Yeah, Howling
really,
Banshees
really
are
good.
good.
Do you reckon it's a movement thing? Because Howling Banshees are like moving through the air. The Dark Reapers are like this.
Yeah.
It could be like the same as Stealth Boy.
I think it was just
it's
just
the Lego head.
It was the head.
They
Yeah,
do
the
have
head is
Lego
heads.
skull.
Yeah.
It was like,
I
oh
would
my
go.
gosh.
What is it with 40k at the moment having like Lego skulls?
But I was going to say a good thing or a good test of a bad model is if I think it's cute. I think the Dark Reapers are adorable.
They're
the
ruined.
problem. That's the problem.
What you enjoy the Ardo? What do you think of the Striking Scorpions? You like them?
I really like them. I really like them. I know that you said, and when I looked at it, I was like, yeah, I can get that. You weren't quite sure on some of the half
I
helmet.
don't like the half helmet, yeah.
I get that. I do get that. But looking at them, I think they're really cool.
I quite like
to be honest
the-
with you, just as an old school Elder player, I'm just so happy we've got some more plastic aspect warriors.
Yeah.
The iconic thing.
Yeah, and Scorpions also are a great unit. Elder having another melee unit in plastic is fantastic, so I'm a big fan of that. I hope someone at GW, please, just give me plastic warp spiders. You've
They
got to
are
bear
the
in mind,
dirtiest.
we've had, I believe, 3 versions of the Striking Scorpions and 4 versions of the Banshees
Yeah, Banshees
since I've been
gone for a
playing.
lot. Yeah.
They just kept updating those. Fine cut. Meanwhile, my warp spiders, my
They've
boys,
had
they're back
one
like
sculpt,
this.
right?
They're still there.
One sculpt.
Yeah. What makes me?
It's a Jez Goodwin banger of a sculpt, and I love
X-Arc
everything he's done. The X-Arc still holds up, but look at the new technology. Just give me the warp spider.
Imagine
Just
what they can
do
do. Imagine what they can
Because
do.
is that
Oh
bit
my
in the,
goodness.
I think it's Dawn of War 2, the cinematic trailer for that, when a warp spider kills like a couple of Space Marines, and the way they move and zip around, and they're so like gnarly. It's like,
Well, they're one of the really interesting units
Yeah.
that the Elder have, and but don't get me wrong, beggars can't be choosers, and us Elder
Striking Scorpions
players,
are very
other
cool,
than
though.
our rules, which have generally always been good, apart from 6th edition, which people always forget about, we were pretty rubbish towards the end of 6. But
Yeah,
that
then 7th
aside,
edition came along with the allies.
Your helmet point's a good one. I like the full helmet. I do also like the rebreather hubs. They look a little bit like they might be one of the Mortal Kombat ninjas.
yeah,
Sure.
They look like they could be Sub-Zero.
with the little-
Who was the green one? Reptile.
Reptile, yeah.
They look like
he
they
was a
could
hidden
be-
character in the early games.
Yeah.
Sub-Zero.
Smoke. That's another one.
Smoke.
Great
Was it?
one.
Oh yeah, it was Cyrax was the Cyber Ninja.
Yeah.
Because Mortal
remember
Kombat.
Cyrax.
Yeah, it was
Noob
the yellow
Cyrax.
one.
he's an Omni-Man in Mortal Kombat now.
He is in the. He's an exclusive character for Mortal Kombat 1. Yeah. Because they've run out of numbers apparently and have gone from Mortal Kombat 11 to Mortal Kombat 1.
Xbox did it.
Yeah, that's true.
Something
true.
about that number.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
is number
knows?
one.
Number 1.
There's also new scouts.
Yeah,
or
these are
scouts
the,
in a box.
These are
These
the
are
new
the new
scouts.
scouts,
yeah.
These are the new scouts.
I really like the new
Yeah,
scouts.
so do I.
I do like them.
So do I.
They look really good in black. This is the perfect example.
You're right.
Yeah.
What I was saying, like weirdly, when they showed them off first in the Ultramarine colours, I was like, they look a bit weird.
Blue and
In that
khaki.
regard, I'm like,
Oh,
there you
they
go.
look-
They
they
make
look-
complete
yeah.
sense.
They
They
look
look really cool
It's
again.
like the stealthy behind enemy lines guerrilla tacticians should be in stealth colours.
Now that looks like a Space Marine scout.
Yep.
They look perfect.
Looks great.
I know the Ultramarine colour scheme is a classic scheme for scouts.
Yeah.
But
It's also
it was that
done.
thing. Yeah, I was like, as soon as you see
Yeah.
them in the all black of the Raven guys, like, yeah, that checks out. They look wicked. They look
Our
really
position's been compromised. What's happened? You're wearing blue. You big moron. The other thing I'm quite excited for with this kill team thing is the new terrain, which is essentially on an oil rig. Which
Yeah,
is
it's really cool.
sick. There's a watery map, and you've got
Is
all
it
like
actually new terrain though?
I think it's similar to the AdMech
So the
terrain.
AdMech, I think it looks like it is just the AdMech.
It's sort of like AdMech, but really big panels.
Yes.
So like the floor sections and like the stilts
Yeah, I
and things
love
like that.
that. Yeah.
It's kind of like a
You
really
can play Kill Team The Floor is Lava edition,
Yes.
yeah.
which is very cool.
Yeah.
Make it lava.
I think they mentioned it in the live stream itself as well, which I think is a great quality of life change for people that play Kill Team, as well as people that don't play Kill Team but get really, really annoyed about the fact that they have to buy Kill Team to get the brand new models that they don't release as separate kits for several months. Is that they go, what's in the expansion? Like the expansion set is like it's the 2 units and like the rules. Okay, cool. Do I have to? Where's the terrain in this separate box?
Yeah, it's quite nice. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Much
For a while,
better
it's
way
been
of
like
doing
one
it.
massive kit. And
Yeah, it's
nice
like
to
here's a
break them out,
£200 kit, and people just go, now I've got to split it, or I've got to find like someone who's going to buy the terrain, or someone who you know. Whereas now it's like, I mean, it's still like you've got to buy it. If you only want the striking scorpions, you're going to have to find someone to split it, wait months, or buy it and deal with it.
Yeah.
Which is something else that I always find very funny when people like with doing these kinds of box sets. It's like Games Workshop know what they're doing, because there's going to be people that buy it because they want 10 scorpions and don't care about anything else. But just a little patience and you'll save yourself like £100.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Like
right.
do you need it day one? Probably not.
Yeah. We'll go back to the super chat, shall we?
Sure.
Super
Shall
chat
we?
before,
Shall we?
Yeah, let's
before
do
you
it.
lot can go off on one.
Floppity Ball Typer is back.
Oh.
It's my boy.
Typing his way into the chat.
Type it again.
He can't be stopped.
I'll read it out in his honour. If somebody doesn't pick Skaven for a word, your pal Floppity will fly up there and take up a banner. Amazing.
I know who they are, but I like it.
I'm so happy to hear
If it's you, Sloppity Bar Typer, someone has personified Demon Titchmarsh in the comments on
Yes,
Demand.
that's right.
One of our on-demand members has become Demon on Titchmarsh.
It's perfect.
He complains when he dies
He
now.
got so sad in the latest narrative.
It's so
like,
good.
If it's you, Sloppity, let us know. Because you deserve a round of applause.
come on, Floppity. Right.
Well, I think you will probably do a bit of Skaven in your old world, though, won't you?
Oh,
'Cause
hell yeah. I'll have to redo all my bases.
Yeah, but I think
That's all
we're
right. I mean,
looking
they
at
were-
using regiment. I'm sure
must be some
there's
version
going to
packs.
be some adapters that come out. Like that's inevitable.
If
Yeah.
Games Workshop don't release it, one, if you're watching,
missing
whoever
out.
at Games
You're
Workshop,
missing out on
you're
a lot of
really,
money.
really
Yeah.
dumb if you don't, because people will buy it. And secondly, if you don't, someone will do it.
Yeah. Well, there's
They
actually
might.
already.
Well, they do it for War of the Ring.
On Etsy, there's already
Yeah.
regiment
Yeah.
bases which convert
Yep.
to old world.
Some great Warhammer stuff on Etsy.
Yeah.
Loads of
Yeah.
stuff.
So and you don't even need to change your bases then. You just whack them in a large square.
Yeah, live in the dream.
Then you could be Slotty Bile Piper. Slotty. Right, yeah, because I reckon I can redo my bases. They're kind of, well, they were old world, weren't
Yeah,
they?
old world.
Or
Yeah,
fantasy.
you had
They're
them on
very
square.
much regiment.
Because the square bases are changing,
Yeah.
they've said.
They're larger
They're
bases.
They are slightly larger.
You can see it in the new model.
Yeah. Old world. Yeah, big thing. Anyway, Russell Pinner is here.
Hey!
Hello.
Russ.
Just wanted to say your bat reps have been incredible recently. Focus on the spectacle, the fun, the narrative. Exactly what the hobby is all about.
Almost like that's what we've said.
Thank
That's
you.
literally what I was just
Yeah,
saying.
maybe. Thank you, Russell. Yeah.
Thank
It's,
you.
it's also way more fun for us to
Yeah,
do that
it
as
is.
well. So I'm
Yeah.
glad
Speaking
you're
of
enjoying
spectacles,
it.
you're going about to be spectacled
Yeah,
later.
in
so
about an hour,
you're
there's going to be a
have
spectacle
great
drop right
time.
here.
Oh, Matt, do you want to tell them what it's based on?
Yeah, so there's a bit of fluff, bit of Tau and guard fluff, or just general fluff called Mooglaf Bay. Big old planet attack. There's loads of really cool bits from that. But one particular bit is the introduction of the Hammerhead gunship into the lore.
Yeah.
When they assault a whole column of Lehman Russ tanks and knights and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So we might have recreated that a bit.
Yeah.
And also something very, 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 very funny happens at the end that
Yes.
none of us planned and is quite spectacularly
Yes.
stupid.
No one was
Stay tuned for that.
It's a good time. Todus Mondus
Oh, nice.
has got in touch for
We got
first
some-
super chat.
We got some fiery names today. I'm on board with this.
All these first super chats are bringing some amazing names.
Thanks,
We
gang.
appreciate all of the first super chats. Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
you all.
We appreciate all of our other super chats as well.
Yeah,
So make
absolutely.
sure that once you've done your first
Everyone.
time, just keep them
I
coming.
appreciate you just being here and watching
We've
us.
got to do a little celebrate. Felt like I should get in on the first time super chat. Love the reveal, especially Old World. Those nights are boom explosion emoji. Keep up the awesome work, team.
There should be like a trebuchet emoji or
Yes.
an arrow, hail of arrow emoji to replace the boom.
Don't tell me
What do you
about all the
think?
Lady emoji.
trebuchet. Right, we'll move on to the next one.
Call me Ishmael.
Thank you. Call me Ishmael.
Thank you, Katie.
Just wanted to say hi.
Hi.
Hi, Ishmael.
Hello.
Yeah.
Thank you for your super chat. Brandon Lagasse wanted to say, stop it. Just wanted to say thank you for all being awesome and helping rekindle my passion for 40k. Reminding me it's about having fun with your friends. What's everyone's favourite Warhammer model? This is the sort of thing we're talking about.
Yeah, I love it.
No more competitive nonsense. Just enjoy playing with toy soldiers with your friends.
Yeah.
It's a very, very simple thing.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Enjoy your hobby.
With your first-
Favourite model?
What's your favourite model?
Go on.
My golden boy.
Chaplain.
Golden boy.
My golden boy, Dante. I love
Dante.
Dante. Do love Dante. But it is probably the Bike Chaplain.
Yeah. Bike Chaplain.
Maybe Interrogate Chaplain. Oh, it's too hard. Kick someone else to take over.
My favourite ever model is the Green Knight.
Oh gosh,
Just
Favourite ever.
that's up there with mine.
It's just
It
so
is
much there.
amazing.
Oh,
I don't know if I can answer that.
you've experienced so many.
I have. I really have though.
You're like a
was up
Pokemon
there.
master.
Honestly, the Green Knight was up there. It was actually on the tip of my tongue. That might be the Green Knight.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to cop out and pick the same model as you. So if I had, and I'll stick to 40k. If I stuck to 40k, oh my goodness, come back to me.
Mr. Chef, let me text Stormlord.
Yeah, funnily enough, no.
Invader ATV.
Absolutely not. I don't know, because there's loads of like the model ones that I really like, and there's a couple of the old like models that I really do like, just from like the simplicity and the iconic standpoint. I don't know if I've got like a favorite model overall. I do have a soft spot for the old Archaon model.
Oh, he is very
Oh,
cool. On
he
the horse.
is as well.
What's he one?
But I don't know if he's my favorite.
Oh, he's great.
But like when someone says like, you know, fantasy battles, it's like
Yeah.
that's kind of what I think.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good shout.
Like,
He's
but
brilliant.
I don't know if he's my favorite. Not sure if he's my favorite.
You've got an old world model as well.
Well,
That's
yeah,
or maybe
I
I,
mean,
can pick an old world model. Then.
go for it if you want.
You can pick an old world model.
It doesn't matter whether it's 40k.
This is one of the models which I've just loved for a very long time. There were two actually, and I've used them for role-play characters in the past. One was from Wartime, which was the Elf Mage, where he's just got a hand out and a staff holding it behind him. There's just something about it. It's just perfect. And the other one's the Wood Elf Lord on the branch with the
Oh, the
double-handed
great sword. Ooh.
Oh, cool.
Oh, the Waywatcher Lord is great as well.
Yeah.
Just like leaning against the tree.
Yeah.
Like the Wood Elves had some good models.
I also
had some good
really
models.
like your Witch Hunter model, which you're using as your cast of plays characters, where he's drawing the pistol, he's got a brace of, oh look.
He's cool. Got an iPad.
There's been some good models.
It must be a matter of time before they redo more time in a box, right? Look, think
I mean, I
of
don't know.
Warhammer
I
Quest.
mean,
It sold so
yeah,
well.
I suppose.
More Time's a really weird one.
Yeah.
Though.
If
Like,
they redo all those models,
if
into
they did them
modern-
like Blood Bowl style, where it's like, you know,
Yeah.
here's like the, you know, what did they call it? It wasn't gangs, that's Necromunda. Warbands?
Warbands.
Was it
Yeah.
Warbands?
It's Warbands,
That'd be cool.
yeah.
Very
Then
cool, actually.
it could work.
Yeah.
And More Time was a great game.
I guess it could
Yeah.
be like War Criers to Sigmar. More time could be.
Yeah,
Gold
but I
Golden.
mean, you know, it's a funny one, isn't it? Specialist games like Battlefleet Gothic was also a phenomenal game. If you ever played it, it was a phenomenal
Oh
game.
my God, it
but
was so good.
Obviously, there wasn't enough support there ultimately for them to keep producing it. And I wonder if More Time is this. The funny thing is, you just get so many people that seem to have played it, and I don't know why they didn't.
I
get
think
on with
it's
it.
almost like that Mandela effect, I think,
Yeah.
where it's just like, oh, I remember playing this. It's like, but you never played it. Oh, oh yeah, I guess I didn't.
Yeah.
You know,
so,
like-
so you never even bought anything from
Yeah.
it? Oh, no.
No, I guess not. You know, it's like people say like, oh, but the Blood Bowl community kept it alive. And you go, yeah, but did the Blood Bowl community have tens of thousands of players, like hundreds of thousands of players playing it? No, they didn't. It's like with Old World Ninth Age, and I will get onto my thoughts on Old World when we talk about Old World later.
Sure.
But yeah, the specialist games especially are a real tricky one.
Yeah,
it's
it
a shame
is.
because there were some fantastic games.
Yeah, there were some. I mean, Dreadfleet was actually a really well-designed game as well, and the box set flopped, which is basically
Naval
a
combat.
re-release of
Yeah.
Manowar, which was also really cool.
They had the Empire ship had a statue of Sigmar on the front and Gamma Raz, and it actually lent for, like, I'm not sure in the model did, but in game there were rules for ramming each other's ships, and they got bonuses because once they rammed the ship, they would then release the gears and it would just go boom.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like the Skaven ship was a dead whale that they reanimated. Oh no, that was the vampire cat. It was a dead whale
yeah,
that
it
they
was, yeah.
reanimated
It's a
with
necro-
necromancy.
That's
The
very
Skaven ship was
Yeah, the
like,
Black
that was-
Arcs and stuff.
it was really cool. It was really
cool.
cool. But it was
Really
also
cool.
they released it, no one bought it, so they dropped it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the company...
Now the box
got
set goes
to.
for a lot of money. So
Yeah,
it's a
well,
bit
ironic
off,
because
right?
the Games Workshop have so much more money now, they probably can afford to
Weather the storm
do
with
some
it.
punts on a few things like that.
Yeah, it could be.
What's your favourite model, Katie?
Tell us, Katie, what's your favourite, Katie?
I am incredibly biased, as you guys know. I have a very, very favourite faction in all of the world, and I love them the most. It's probably the new Death Leaper model.
No, definitely.
Yeah,
Boys,
that's a good
good
model.
Because I literally kid you not, when I first saw that model, I cried, screamed, and ran to the screen to get a closer look at it.
Did you call it cute though?
I might have done.
Right, we'll move on, shall we? We will get... But we got loads of time left, that's nice. Wow, so many super chats coming in. Tobias Hastings, it's his first super chat. Tobias, my boy Tobias. Speaking of the podcast, thank you, James, for doing it, and Spider for letting him.
We did it, gang!
Great addition to Tabletop Tactics lineup. Are we getting one today?
No, so if you weren't at the start of the subject, it'll come out on Friday. So because of the new schedule, we'll be doing our Freeview Bat Report on a Monday. So the regular scheduled programming of the podcast will move to Fridays. But it doesn't mean you have it for if you're going anywhere on the weekend. You've got it for your long commutes and just for the weekend, or you've got it 3 days early, depending on how you look at the week. So
What is this week's episode?
it's number 13. I can't remember what it is.
I look at the
Look
schedule
forward to
for you.
that. It is how people actually play Warhammer. We're to have a chat
that's a
about
good one.
actually.
Convenient one based on today's chatting.
Despite there being a real conception of how you should play, I bet there's thousands of people that aren't even watching this and just in their houses having a nice time with their friends and don't even know what points are or what
Even though there was an
balanced data
FAQ
state is.
update or something.
Like, all these kinds of people. So we have a nice chat about that.
I got a message not long ago from someone that says they've been watching all of our 7th edition reports because that's what they play at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's
You do you.
Do you, Boo? Dylan Fisher's here.
Hey!
Dylan,
Pushed any pencils lately?
spot on comments regarding balanced 40k throughout editions. TT always showcases how to wargame responsibly. It's great for the game and the community. Could be our new slogan, wargame responsibly.
We should
Dylan's
actually
Have
get,
pictures
like,
of really
a
sad
warning
people
label
gaming on the front of the
every-
packet.
Get a warning label on every.
Mourning the death of their hobby.
Dylan's also a legend who's donated large portions of terrain for us.
Yes, thank
Plus
you,
Plus,
good
he
sir.
was responsible for our Imperial Fist army. So
Legend. It's over there.
You can't see it.
And he's sending me a bunch of Flesh Terror OG transfers because I've run out.
Very cool.
Can't get those for love nor
You
money.
can't, so it's nice to get those as well. Thank you.
Blood. Legio 9 to Spanner is back after what I think is their first super chat, if I remember correctly.
Now they're second.
Yes. Hey guys, hello again. Is there any update on the gaming space for you? Can't wait to pop down and play there. P.S. I can't stop saying Demon Save. That divides opinion, that phrase. But do you want to update us on the
Demon Save?
On Demon Save, it divides opinion apparently. No, we just had a very soft launch just last week actually.
Do you want to tell them what got plumbed in?
Yeah, the bar is now live.
Oh, it was a sweet beer.
I wanted to pour one for this.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, bold
Very
move.
tempted. I was very tempted to pull out the tankards.
So basically, we now have a bar that can serve, beer, and all of the bar fridges are in, and we have pretty much downstairs nearly ready. There are a couple of things that we need to do. We need to put some suspended acoustic panels in, and we need to run our first test event, which will be closed just to some friends of the channel, which will get in to run a small test event so that we can just learn how to do this properly. Plus, we're trying to coincide our proper launch of our space with a very big update which is coming to our app. Which I've mentioned several times in the past, but basically you'll be able to play in a league from home, which is really, really cool.
We used to say it's big people a lot, didn't we? That is big.
It is big. It is massive,
Good
actually.
grief.
And then we will also be running our events through this app, which is also really very exciting. So, in summary, you probably want to know, sure, Lawrence, but when does that
There's no date.
translate? There is no official date. It won't be this year that we're open. I can tell you that much now. It will be next year. I don't know exactly
It'll
when.
be open for events. I think it's worth pointing that
for
out.
events,
It's open for events. We're not just going to be open doors. You can come down and play.
No,
but that makes it all the more special because then it's quite literally an event.
That's right. Yeah, and the hopefully, if the events prove popular, then we will run more events. So there'll be plenty of events for people to come to in the future.
Supply and demand.
It's going to be great.
Nice. 13 Jerry, the 13th of his name. You can totally put 40k unit on a dragon. My Lord Discordant has been kit bashed with a Helldrake, Game of Thrones style.
Oh,
Yes.
snap.
Not messing about.
That's cool.
What's going on?
Yeah,
up
wait
here?
a minute.
Yeah, I like that.
Good to know Bob. Has
Good to
come.
know.
It is good to know Bob. Everyone should know a Bob in their life.
Good to know Bob. I don't know Bob.
Do you know?
One of my middle names is Robert.
There we go.
You technically
Done.
know a Bob.
That was quick.
Bob the Bard. There we go.
Jarl got me into joining an LGS Crusade campaign with my Dark Angels Deathwing. Looking forward to using Stormlance to advance and charge my Strike Master and Deathwing Knights in a game later this week against the Filthy Zanus.
Nice. Kill them.
Very good. Andy Rue has just dropped his €5.
He left a message, but it didn't attach.
Oh yeah, it's there.
Yes,
Oh, no, what happened?
I've been holding on to that because I thought
Well
you might
done.
not see it.
It's right underneath. The Green Knight one, right?
Yes,
The
that's
Green
you.
Andy Rue did have a message for you.
Okay.
It was not actually for you, it just rhymes with Rue. The Green Knight is based on a real knight. He was Spanish, fought in the Crusades, and led several sallies, joining the Siege of Tyre in 1187. His helmet was mounted with antlers. Very cool. That is very cool.
Very
That's
cool.
really
That's a
cool.
fun
There's also
fact.
a fantastic Old English poem about the Green Knight.
Is there?
Is there?
Would you like to recite it for us?
It was like 200 pages long.
Oh.
But
we've got some
essentially,
time.
a knight turns up to King Arthur's court and challenges all the knights that none of you are as good as me, so come find me in the woods and fight me. And Lancelot goes and fights him.
Have you seen the film?
That's epic.
No, but it is based on the film.
Proper weird.
Yeah, no, the poem is real strange.
But it's really good.
I have
One point
seen
is
the
a
film.
deer.
It's
The-
proper
the knight's
weird.
just a deer in the poem at one point. He's just running around. It's like, ha, it's me, you can't catch me. And then turns into a knight again.
That is so typical of like old English myths
Yeah.
and
Great.
sort of stuff like that because it is mostly down to just the Fae being a nightmare.
Yeah.
Fairies are not to be trusted.
No.
This may or may not be a hint for D&D, by the way.
Oh.
Pay attention.
D&D.
okay.
D&D.
Warning taken.
Right, I'm going to rattle through some of these now so we go to our last topic of the day. Martin K says, love this team. Regarding detachment card box, will GW continue not including cards that show what detachments do / stratagems they have?
Looks like it, which is a really dumb idea.
Or
But
just
thank you
have
for the
it.
super chat, Martin.
Yeah, thank you for the super
Praise be
chat.
unto Martin.
Yeah.
Not so much to G-dubs.
It's such a shame that they why can't they just put
It would have been a
the card in?
really nice thing to do.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have crushed them financially. It would have been a nice thing to do.
wouldn't.
The best thing about it is that you've got so many people that do not care about anything in the codex other than the rules.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what they put in the codex.
Yeah.
People are not reading it. And that sucks because there's some really good stuff in the codex. There's great artwork, there's good lore,
Really good
there's
artwork.
some really just cool hobby stuff.
Yep.
It's a really nice tome for the average hobbyist.
Yeah.
But there is a large portion of the community, not the majority of the proportion, because we are talking about the competitive, and those that are just here to play a game, competitive or not, that do not care about it. So all Games Workshop could have done would go like, if you buy this, it contains all your rules. Oh, but for £5 more, you can get a codex.
Yeah.
Like they could have made it 25. I mean, how much is it? Is it 25 quid for the data
Quite,
cards?
so not cheap.
No, I don't think
Which ones?
The cards aren't that expensive.
15.
I don't know.
15.
No,
Well, it's
I think
15 for the
they're
index
15 or
cards, but I think the
18
Tyranids ones was like 20 quid, wasn't it?
I thought it was like £18 or something, but yeah, 20 quid.
Do you know what they should have
But
done?
they could have just they could have made it more expensive and go, yeah, but here's the great thing, because at the beginning of 10th edition we said you don't need to have a book. You've got a few pages open from your card. Whereas now they can technically turn around and go, well, yeah, you technically do only have one page open. It's still in a codex that you've got to buy, but you want your cards as well? Oh, sorry, you're doubling up on cost.
It's £20 for the Tyranid day cards.
Okay.
Charge 25, people still would have bought it.
They should have just put the rules.
It's probably
in the app.
20 from.
Yeah,
it's probably
just
18
put the rules
from
in the
Element
app.
Games.
Yeah, don't.
Charge for if you're going to charge money for the app, just put the rules in the app.
Oh my God, I hate the app so much now. They were this close to greatness.
So close.
We've said this so many times. The minute we found out, we were like, that's it.
That's it.
It could have been perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
Could have been perfect.
Sad times.
They are allowing you to do one list for free though, aren't
You
they?
can do one.
It's not about the list, you don't get any of the
See
rules.
any of the rules.
I know.
It's kind of
Unless
that
you
thing.
put your code in, right?
Yeah, you've got, but the point is you've
Can't
got
even see the
to, you've got to
index
put the code in,
Yeah.
and then if you don't have a subscription, you get the one list.
Yeah.
Even if you put your code in.
Yeah.
Like if they were like, yeah, you can do up to 6 because you've put in the Space Marine and it's got because there's 7 detachments, you can do one of every detachment. Oh, that's a nice little bonus for me for the code that I've put in.
Yeah.
People have already paid £30-35 for them.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
don't then charge them $5.99 on top so that they can have the privilege of writing
So
more than one
close.
list. It's so consumer unfriendly.
Give us something positive, Piers. Pull us out of the depths of the app.
All right, I'm going to rattle through. We're rattling now. Everyone calm down, please. I'm sitting on my keys. Henrik Falkenberg says, been waiting since Epic for squats. Got them. Now been waiting years for Bratones and Kislev to return. We have to wait for our memories to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Yeah.
Super Chat. Yeah, well, it looks like you're on a trajectory to get those things. So.
Woohoo! Floppity Mouth Hyper's back again, boys!
Oh.
Here we go. One of my favorites, having the best time. One of my favorite models ever, including the rules, was Crom the Conqueror.
Oh, yes.
Crom, simple but awesome model, and he didn't need any fancy magic weapons or armor. He was just that badass.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true.
He was, yeah.
He
you're
was
right.
great.
Sam Scores in the Doors. I really enjoyed the video of the history of 40k. Which one mechanic would you bring back into the current edition from the previous edition?
Scattered Iron Blast templates.
No, I would change the line of sight system entirely, and I would have it based on categories, and I would have I would go back to probably a blend of 3rd and 5th edition line of sight.
Okay.
So it's like you cannot see through your own vehicles. Oh yeah, but I can see through this little gap between the spot. No, you cannot see. Oh, okay, but can I see this guy who's holding the sword? No, because in a real battle he would be doing this. But he's
You
modeled like that.
wouldn't
I don't have to
penalise
rotate. I would not penalise people for having cool stuff.
So would you then you'd go back to a 4+ cover save?
Oh no, that's stupid.
Right.
Like that is stupid.
Would
Like,
you
Allow Mortarians or Magnus tuck his wings in.
yeah, but
You can't kill someone by shooting
you
their
can't-
banner.
Yeah, exactly. You could, like Magnus, a veteran of the Horus Heresy, happens to be standing like this. But you, as the general, as the commander on the battlefield, have to rotate him 90 degrees so that he's facing over that side of the battlefield, so that you can't shoot him. Whereas instead, in real life, Magnus would just go.
I also don't think shooting Magnus in his wing would hurt
No.
him that much.
No,
So
it'd
you'd be
be
alright.
good.
You'd probably be alright.
You might ruffle some feathers. Hey!
Like weapons,
Terrible.
wings, antennae, banners, none of that would count. And it
Stilts.
Well,
That
yes,
would be a problem if you shot his stilts
Well,
off.
no, because that's like part of the model, because it's like on the base and it's basically a cylinder. That's how I do it. Now, obviously, you've got things like tanks, they don't have it, but you just go, look, the sponsor, and you just have, you need a PDF and just go like, this is what, and it's just an image of everyone and go like, yep, this is, that
Yay,
counts
nay,
as part of
yay,
it,
nay.
that is part of it, that is part of it, that is part of it. Demon Prince with wings, no, you can't shoot his wings because he's not stupid, he'd tuck them in. The birds on top of a knight, no, absolutely not. But the knight's head, yes, of course,
Okay.
Like it's just little things like that. It's like, that I think would make it a much more narrative focused gameplay, and also it would then help competitive because you would have a completely objective set of rules, and it would allow you to play with windows.
Yeah.
Because there are no windows in the 41st millennium.
They've all been boarded up.
You also need to play on a table with 16 ruins every single
Yeah, exactly. So just that
Or not.
that change alone
You don't have
would
to play
make
that
a
way.
huge difference.
Very good. Neil Adams is arrived.
Hello, Neil.
Favourite model, original metal Harlequin Death Jesters.
Oh, yeah. They are cool, actually.
2
They
cents, 2 cents in.
Yeah,
Very
they
good.
are cool.
The Rat Catcher, first super chat, baby.
Rat Catcher!
Another excellent name. I'm going to give you a like for your name. What sub factions do you plan on painting for your old world? What sub factions do you plan on painting your old world armies as? For instance, Nomads, a Nordland Empire army, Clan War, Skaven, etc.
I can answer that.
Oh, go on then.
So my empire would actually be a Dogs of War army. So they're mercenaries. So it gives me the opportunity to paint different houses, or say this unit has come from a burned down village. So you know they'll be known as the Korsberg Reavers or something, if they've come out of the ashes of their village after it was burnt down by Skaven. Yeah, and then this unit joined, as a household cavalry because they were banished from their county.
Oh!
Stuff like that.
That's very cool.
Yeah,
That's very
it's
cool.
cool.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Martin K has
Not thought
arrived.
about it at all. Yeah.
I've got that.
Pull it out of my head. Martin K would like to say to the Jinx and James, you're awesome additions to Table of Tactics.
Thanks.
Nice, isn't it?
Yeah, they're all right.
Really
Yeah,
lovely.
nice.
Camera you're in, but one of these.
God of Thunder.
Yes.
I love
One.
this one. I love your channel, love all your videos. Please continue the good work. Please say, does it go boomba?
But does it go boomba?
Does it go boomba? No one's requested that before. That's a good one. Well done, God of Thunder.
You suddenly realise what we actually say.
Walker 4 IB's here.
Yay!
The fourth of his name and serial number. Favourite models, definitely. Deathwatch Captain Artemis, but the OG 54mm one. That's a cool one.
Oh,
yeah.
Quizito, another old school game.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah, you want to talk about granularity?
Yeah. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
John Donahue, no massive donation today. Oh, don't be. Come on, John, don't. Stop it. Got a baby on the way and just had 3 fillings. That's rough.
Yeah, okay.
Fair play. I feel funny. Just wanted to give a big love to you all. Thank you for all you give us. Heart. Oh, you've actually gone to the trouble of building a heart, not just the emoji. That's several
fair play.
steps.
Dedication.
Several steps. Love you all.
Thank you.
Platonically.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm glad that you put that little bit at the end there. I was getting very concerned.
And
Sorry.
congratulations on the...
Yeah.
And the fillings.
And commiserations on the fillings.
commiserations on the fillings.
Yeah, thank you, John. T-shirt curator, cool. My husband and I have loved the podcast episodes as cozy chats to watch while painting models after we put our baby to bed.
Perfect. Perfect.
That's nice.
what we wanted.
And first super chat, baby. Thank you. So many today.
Yeah,
so
amazing.
many
Thank you
first
so
I'm
time.
very
much,
glad
guys.
people are
Thank
enjoying
you.
the pod as well.
Yeah.
Makes me warm and fuzzy.
Thank you, and makes T-shirt curator cozy.
Yeah, speaking of t-shirts.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Our all new line of coloured t-shirts available right now on tabletoptactics.tv.
Get yours now.
You two can look like James.
Brendan Duffy's first comment and a very generous super chat. Thank you, Brendan. Thanks for all the great content, gang. It helps me get through my hobby malaise. Malaise, that's a good word.
That's a great word.
I'm finally painting my Night Lords. Get in.
Night Lords. There's a
Cheeky.
faction everyone wants to see all the time, but you never see them.
Fletcher helped me with a scheme ages ago when he did the paint tutorial for them. Ave Dominus Nox. Very good.
Perfect.
And that was the first super chat. Did I mention that?
Yes,
You did.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Brendan,
thank you.
you legend. Right, I've got a couple more, then we're going to get into
You're the one that's cutting into your old world time.
Jeff Pritchard has just donated $10.
He did leave a message.
What was it?
Did?
As someone that plays many armies and who has collected for decades, this new rules cost system is so discouraging. So sad. Love the live streams and podcasts. Keep up the great work, everyone.
Sick
you.
one.
Rules
Thank you.
cost system.
Rules.
Because
Oh,
essentially
the
it's power
lack of
level.
granularity. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It is a shame. It is a shame.
And finally, for now, Just Jay. It's Just Jay. Just Jay, everyone. Just Jay.
Hello.
No love for Makari's best model. Shame.
Oh, Makari, yeah.
Yeah, but that's because
Captain Stab. Captain straight
Captain
in the eye.
Spoon.
Well, from that era, so I actually love the original. I love a lot of the original Orc models from second edition, actually. But actually, one of my favourite 40k models was the original Tycho. He wasn't actually Tycho, he was just a Blood Angels captain.
Yeah,
he had his fist on his hip, gun out like this, and he had the golden, no, he had a full mask.
He had full mask at this
He
point.
had a full mask.
I know exactly which one.
But he became Tycho because in a White Dwarf battle report, he got his head blown off by an orc weird boy. And they had that in the fluff, and they cemented it, and he became Captain Erasmus Tycho.
Very cool.
He feels Black Range, and somehow he's still kicking about in the old data sheets,
Just
though, isn't he?
let him die. I
he is.
swear to God.
And he's never,
if he
ever,
shows up
in
again-
any edition, been good.
Yeah, he's always been rubbish.
Despite being
Tycho.
one of my favourite captains.
He's so cool.
Right, that is the super chats done for now. Thank you everybody for your very, very generous super chats. We'll get back to the one that's just come through shortly. Anyone else that wants to get in on the action, send us a super chat and I'll do my best to get back to you before the end of this live stream. We must finish before 6 o'clock because we're releasing our brand new battle report, which now comes out on Monday for anyone that wasn't watching at the beginning. Monday is now Monday. TT Mondays.
And what day is it today?
Monday,
Monday, baby. Monster trucks and TT tabletop tactics.
Or
Right.
we should get a TT branded monster truck.
We should.
yes.
Okay.
We should.
Yeah, Warhammer World, they've got a rhino out the front, we've got monster truck.
Monster
We've got
truck.
Can we get a tank with monster truck wheels?
Reels!
Feels?
Monster truck reels.
Buy one, get one free. Right. The final thing that was unveiled at Warhammer Day, the 40th anniversary of Warhammer no less, was an update on Warhammer the Old World.
Okay.
We've been waiting some time for many updates for Warhammer the Old World, and we got a big one. On Saturday, and it
was a big one, wasn't
it? Was a
it?
big one, big boy, and it was a jolly nice big old preview of the Bretonnians.
Yeah, the entire Bretonnian range, I believe, is what they said.
As far as I understand, yes. So this is big news for anyone interested in Old World, or also any previous Bretonnia fans, of which I am one. My childhood was swathed in
Bretonnian.
Bretonnia.
I think it's big news for people with eyeballs. It's very, very exciting.
Oh, it's sick. So the first model, which are plastic kits, we should mention.
Yeah.
The first one was the Lord on Pegasus.
Yep.
Now, just a quick vibe check. How are we feeling about Bretonnia?
5 J's out of 5.
Five J's? Damn, boy.
I mean, wow. You're seeing what was always lacking, which I agree with you, and we've had this discussion many times in the past. Like, Games Workshop ultimately killed the game because no one was buying it. The ultimate irony being that they wouldn't make anything because no one was buying it, but no one was buying it because they wouldn't make anything. So they would release a book every 5 years.
Amongst other reasons.
Other reasons, yeah. But they'd release a book every 5 years, and then they would release new, actually updated models for it. Way less. And to be honest, a lot of the older range back then, that's not fair. Portions of the older range back then were questionable, such as the high elf plastics. The metal ones that the plastics replaced were actually much better. The high elf plastics had massive hands. The
heads
heads
are
were really
hands
funny
are
on
bigger
the
than the heads.
archers. You know, that's just an example of where it went wrong a little bit. With the new design, that they've got available to them now. And actually the Bretonnian plastics, a lot of the original Bretonnian plastics actually being amongst the good range, still holding up really well. They look amazing. The Foot Knights are stunning. This is now, we're seeing sort of Cities of Sigmar level coolness coming into the Old World, which is really nice. I'm also really pleased that, because I know that they mentioned in one of the previous Warhammer community articles that they would be rehashing, re-releasing some of the classic kits, which you can see they've done here, with the Trebuchet and so forth. But actually they've done quite a lot of new stuff too, with this Lords, the new Sorceress, including the one, of course, on the Unicorn, all of the Foot Knights, and they've also said in the same sentence that those bits are compatible across the range.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. So that means you can kit bash using the new pieces onto the old classic knights and all this sort of jazz. So that's also really exciting.
It's very cool.
It's a whole new army, basically.
They've
refreshed the army.
And I quite like where they've gone in terms of design. Now, I'm looking at the Lord on Pegasus at the moment. Yes, that is a very big, bold, giant lord riding on a massive Pegasus, essentially.
That's what it is.
But compared to Sigmar, it does look a bit more I don't know. I don't want to say realistic, 'cause he's on a
Down to
Pegasus.
earth?
Yeah. It's not like a horse with a lion's head and the wings of a bat. It's definitely a Pegasus, and he, the Lord, looks like a knightly lord. He's in his armor. He doesn't look too over the top, but he looks very imposing, and it looks like that's kind of where they're going with the old world design. It's a bit more grounded.
Well, the thing with old world is, and this is where we've spoken about this before as well. Old world always felt a little bit more grim, dark fantasy than Sigmar did, but actually old world has and always was high fantasy. It is high fantasy.
Anyone that says it's low fantasy doesn't know the difference between low and high fantasy. It's high fantasy.
It is high fantasy, but
it's not
because
epic fantasy.
No, whereas Sigmar is just high fantasy. Old world is high fantasy, but rooted in a pseudo medieval Renaissance world where there are a lot of similarities to our actual, Earth's history. So you go, it makes it seem a little bit more believable because it's stolen a lot of things from history and been inspired by it. Whereas,
Covered this in a lovely podcast episode.
Yes.
You can check out right now.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. App available on the iOS and Play stores. But look, I agree with you. It feels tangible somehow. Feels like, maybe if that fantasy creature was real, that's how it would look.
Yeah, kind of
with a knight on it. Yeah.
Mr. Chef, what do you think of Bretonia?
Yeah.
I've never been a huge fan of Bretonian.
You're all about them Tomb Kings.
Yeah, they didn't show any Tomb Kings, which is very sad.
It's a shame.
I like the idea of Bretonia, the cavalry armies, the lance formation and all that. Interesting that all the pictures have showed the 5th edition lance formation, not the 6th edition lance formation.
Yes.
The 5th edition lance formation is the 1 at the front, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
The previous version was ranks of 3
That's right.
in a big, and then you would go dum dum dum.
Yeah.
That's right.
It represents the wedge. But for me, I don't like them.
Don't like any of them?
Don't like them?
I don't like the Foot Knights.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
And I think part of the reason for that is because it's everything that I really disliked about Warhammer Fantasy Battles back in the day, which was they are constrained by the fact that they have to be rank and file.
Right.
So they don't look, they're more dynamic than they've ever been.
Well, they are because the bases are bigger. You can sort of see that.
Yeah, but when you put them rank and file, and don't get me wrong, there's something really nice. There's something very aesthetically pleasing about rank and file.
It's my favourite, visually, for a fantasy
But I look at that unit and I just go, if they were on skirmish bases for Age of Sigmar, they would be a lot more, there would be more movement to them.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I think that almost kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier with regards to the Aspect Warriors, is the Dark Reapers, very static. Stiltman, very static. The minute you put a little bit of movement in there, look at the Lion. The Lion could have been really boring, but by stepping forward, just that little change of the movement makes all the difference. And I think for those models, it doesn't work. You compare that to the Damsels, mate, they're amazing because they've got movement to them. And it could be because they're character models and they're able to be there by themselves. The minute you put that Damsel that's floating forward on the vines and the roses in a unit of Foot Knights, she's probably going to get lost as well. And that's just my personal opinion. I'm not a big fan of it. I'm also a little bit concerned about what they said about, when we release the archers, you're going to buy a box of 32 of them. It's like, well, what if someone doesn't want...
they've said that the regiments are going to be in...
They're selling them in full regiment sizes.
We don't know what the full regiment size is, though.
But they said, it contains 32 plus models. And I'm like, well, what if I don't want to run 32
Did they say
models?
32?
I think they said 32 in the article for the bowmen. One, what if I don't want to run 32? One, what if I have to run 32?
Right.
Secondly, I think a lot of people are also kind of neglecting the fact that if you've got the big problem with 8th edition fantasy or old world was the buy-in was ludicrous.
It's very expensive.
It was so expensive to get started because it was like, what do you need for this basic unit? You need at least 30 models to make it anywhere not even good, serviceable. Okay, how many points is that? About 160? How many pounds is that? 90? If they're starting off by going, you need 32, we sell them in boxes of 32, it's Games Workshop. That's going to be a £65 box.
Yeah, it depends
for a 10-year-old kit as well.
Yeah.
I am
Depends on
intrigued
the
by,
price
they showed a photo of like all of them together in the little footage they did. And it seemed, I was expecting to see this huge, massive army.
Yeah.
But it was Pegasus Lord, some Foot Knights, and some Bowmen, and that was like it.
Yeah.
So I wonder if, I'm hoping they go for more of a, let's start off small and have a bigger game mode for people that have massive collections.
Well, I suspect, you're right. That was one of the major issues as well with the price of getting into the game back then.
It was bananas.
I suspect...
Still is bananas.
Yeah, it still is. I suspect that they will probably price it to be similar to buying a 40k army now, because that just makes sense.
I think they'll price it to Heresy, you know.
Well, even then, because a lot of Heresy is plastic, it's a very similar buy-in. It's actually a very similar buy-in to a 40k army now. It's not. Back when it was Forge World resin, it was not similar buy-in at all. So
I think that's going to be the real kicker as well.
So that means the points are going to be
the points
quite
are
different
key,
to perhaps what you and I have experienced in previous editions.
I think it's because it's almost this. It feels to me kind of muddled, and I've been thinking about this for quite some time with the Old World. Like, don't get me wrong. I want to play Old World, rank and file. It's a totally different game experience. It's super fun. The setting is great. You know, I think I've always had this odd thing where people are like, oh, it's one of the most original settings ever. It's really not. It's super derivative. That doesn't make it bad. It's really good, but it is not like, it's not super original. The most original thing about it is the Skaven and the Lizardmen.
Yes.
But it's this weird, like gameplay-wise, it's this really weird mishmash of here's plastic, here's old plastic. And we're not talking like, oh, this is old plastic from like a few years ago. We're talking like those Knights of the Realm, I think, and they'd hold up well. They're like 14, 15 years old.
Yeah.
And as we've seen from some of the old 40k kits, Games Workshop aren't keeping them with 14, 15-year-old prices. Yeah. And then you've got Forge World resins. You've got this real mishmash of old stuff, new stuff, some of which is in resin, some of which isn't, some of which is plastic. And it's just from a, who's it for?
Me.
Yeah, me too.
But this is kind of my point.
I have no issue with that.
No, but this is kind of my point. You've collected them before. I've collected them before. You've collected them before. Have you ever played fantasy?
No, but I want to buy the house.
No, but you do. But you want to buy it. But you're an experienced hobbyist. So this to me, it comes across as like it's definitely a game for veteran players. Yeah. Either veterans because they've played it before, or veterans because they've played Games Workshop games before, or have experience with models.
What I do think is interesting is because Heresy is a very obvious comparison because it's sort of like an older game that's sort of come back and it has a lot of mishmashy stuff, but Heresy is kind of the niche within a niche because yes, it's Space Marines and Space Marines are very popular, but it is Space Marines versus Space Marines and Space Marines.
Yes. And it's core.
Space Marines.
Yes, I know there are custodians. Yes, I know there's demons, but...
And it's great, and it's a fantastic system, and loads of people really enjoy it, and some of the models are incredible. Yeah. But I can understand why a lot of people are like, well, I'm not that into Space Marines. However, what I do think is one of the most iconic things in all of fantasy, no matter what type of fantasy, or whether that's Lord of the Rings or World of Warcraft or whatever, is a knight.
Yeah.
And the fact they've gone for the tip of the spear for this is like, they know who they're, like, they could have released any of the old world factions, but I think Bretonians have got a lot of people being like, oh, that is really cool. Because it's that classic, it's so iconic of just amazing. Knights in general.
Yeah.
And having that made by GW, which are one of the premier makers of models in the whole world. Yeah. You're like, I know kind of the quality I'm getting in for. If you like Kings of War, if you like all these other game modes, even if you like some of like the Dark Souls board games we've done, like it just scratches that questing knights thing.
And funnily enough, like I can see the Foot Knights now. What you say, that lack of the lack of the movement, I actually feel they have achieved. Where I would have agreed with the old school miniatures. Because of the larger bases, you've got a lot more interesting. Like the knight on the outside holding his sword like this.
I think I'm going to have to see them in person.
Again,
it's like with every model.
Very difficult to make a true judgment based on just the picture. But I suspect, and from what I can see here, the larger bases are going to do the whole model range a world of good in terms of posability.
So a hot take of mine, which I've just thought of in my brain box, it's just fired off. Yeah, bang!
Neurons.
One of my valves went.
Flicking up.
What Games Workshop have had to do with these models. So the Knights of the Realm on foot, there's 10 of them there. Those are all individual characters, essentially.
Yeah.
Every single one has a unique head,
see different
helmet,
headdresses,
the clothing,
yeah.
everything is different. So there's been an incredible amount of investment into the design of these, which is quite impressive, really, for a game that did die a while ago, a death.
It died because it wasn't popular.
Yeah, and now they've obviously invested a lot, and they spent a lot of time doing that. So they must believe in it, because it's a very, very impressive army.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's there's a couple of things because we were talking about this on the Saturday in our sort of like work chat, as it were, and you made a good point with regards, or I said basically like Games Workshop knows what they're doing, we assume, because they've gone. These are the two armies that we're releasing first with new models are models that are armies that were really popular in the context of fantasy, because again, the hype machine for this is beyond any popularity it ever had. There's people turn around and say, I never played fantasy and I'm going to play it. There's people that turn around and saying that like...
It's an extraordinary amount of hype.
Which I think... I'm wary about it. I'm wary about it because we saw what happened with Heresy. And that's kind of another point for later. But Tomb Kings and Bretonnians are armies that don't exist.
Yes,
in
Sigmar, yeah.
They
No
they're
crossover.
completely separate entities. And they were both popular armies within the context. And then we were basically saying, like with the points and stuff, but it's this weird ironic thing where they need new blood, like any game system that they have, they need new blood in order for it to be successful. They need new blood to come in and spend the money, because yes, those models are great, and that's going to be a really good injection of like people that have an existing Bretonnian army and they go out and buy more stuff, or people that are interested in Bretonnians and buy more stuff. But then there's going to be a large swathe of people that go, I have 10,000 points of Dark Elder that I didn't burn in a trash fire.
Dark Elves, you mean?
Yes. So I don't need to buy anything new. If you release a new unit, I probably won't buy it. I'm not going to rebase my stuff. I'm not going to buy the
These are
things.
Warhammer fans talking about right now.
Yeah.
You're going to buy all this stuff and never paint it. That's how these things work.
But then
Hey, don't talk about me.
but they do need new blood to invest in it to keep it going, because this was exactly the problem that they had last time.
It's a really good point, because my understanding of their issue before was that everyone kind of had, but then maybe it's because they didn't add enough new stuff. Like people had their collections, so it's like, well,
I'm good.
But they weren't releasing any new models.
Stuff, that's the
So
thing.
if they keep releasing stuff, if every army comes out and it's like, here's a plastic unit, a plastic character, like 2 or 3 resin characters and reprints, now all of a sudden it's like, that's enough to get someone excited. That's enough to get people buying it.
And then the cross-compatibility of those new kits with is very clever.
And am I right in thinking that this is a slightly different time frame to when...
It's 300 years before the
So,
end.
which I think is quite clever, because then a lot of the classic characters are kind of by and large then, they're not born yet. So
It allows them to make
you're going to have new ones.
Morgana Le Fay isn't in it.
What's a Lady? It's quite a clever way of being like, okay, well we can redo all the come up with new characters.
When they release the
settings
Empire,
reset.
they're not going to do Karl Franz, because it's going to be Magnus the Pious.
Yeah, that's right. And also there's a lot
It's
more
not gonna be
civil
Archaon,
war
it's
in
gonna
the
be- is it
Empire
more
now,
Cav?
which gives a lot more reason why the Empire states are fighting.
Because this is
It's very,
is
very
this
clever.
pre-Elector counts?
Yes, because the Elector counts...
No, hang on.
I'm trying to brush up on my old world history, but my understanding is the Elector counts came in later when the Empire became unified.
Yeah,
And each
because
Elector count
they're
is
city-states at the
That's
moment,
right,
yeah.
which then will report to the Emperor,
Yes.
Karl Franz.
Yeah, because Magnus was like the uniter, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Magnus the Pious.
Yeah, and this
if I
is
remember,
pre-Voltan.
this is a while ago that I'm sort of on the.
I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring again recently, and I'm very tempted to have one of each of the demigod households in Bretonnians. So do all the different
Nice.
like colour schemes.
Nice.
That's very cool.
Nice.
I'll bankrupt myself.
Old World is super exciting, but I think that people just I mean, I am a glass half full kind of guy, to the surprise of no one. There's part of me that just goes, this seems awesome.
Half empty.
What did I say?
Glass half full.
Oh no, definitely empty. I'm a half full. Yeah. But I'm really excited for it. I'm really excited to see. But there's a couple of things that are going to make or break it. And because here's the thing, we've seen it happen with Heresy.
Yeah.
We've seen it happen with Heresy, and I really hope that it does well, because it's such a fun. It was such a fun game system. Maybe not towards the end of 8th edition because Magic was stupid. Magic was really, really bad. And 8th edition is honestly where a lot of the real problems started with fantasy, if you remember. For context for you guys and for you guys at home, that was the edition that made Magic stupidly bonkers, i.e. I can delete 3/4 of your army in one magic spell, not a turn, one spell bonkers. I may have played Ogres and Lizardmen and played against Vampire Counts a lot, so the Purple Sun of Xeris will send shivers down your spines. But it's also the edition where they introduced hordes. Yeah. And they went, oh, so, 10-man units, 20-man units, those are cute. You should be running 60. Yeah. And it's just like, and that's kind of what killed it. So I'm really interested to see the points and the game mechanics because it is so totally different. If they end up doing what they did with 8th edition where it was, here's the core rules. It starts on page 100 and it ends on page 312. People are going to be like, this is just too much. It's too chunky.
Yeah, that'll be, well, we don't know what the rules will be like yet, but
I'm intrigued.
Be interesting.
I'm excited, but I'm tentative.
It remains to be seen. The website apparently is going to be launching today.
Oh, no, it's launched today.
It's launched.
Oh, it's already launched?
It's basically a sign up to email.
It's get an emailer and click on this link to go to all of the Warcom articles.
I still think even just from a collection standpoint, just collecting models, rules aside, I really want these models. And I'm Captain, Blood Angel, and even Heresy, I was like, oh, it's cool they've done those old sculpts and it's cool we're going to have access to all that stuff. But I wasn't immediately like, I really want that. I know some people are and love Heresy, and they were in it for the game and wanted it back. But if you're purely like just a modeler or a hobbyist, this might turn your head a bit more.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, so a very important thing to bear in mind with the model. So number one thing I love, not very, kind of specific, you can see through to their eyes and noses through the helmets, which is wild. But the other thing I've just read on here is that all of the heads and arms will work on any set of torsos. So it's going to be very unlikely you're going to see anyone with the same looking Bretonnian armor, which is very cool. And because you're supposed to like paint them in your own way, they're going to look very different. So I think from a hobbying perspective, it kind of blows Heresy out the water a bit. So those are them. Those are the Knights on foot. Pegasus Knights are coming back, which is exciting. Knights of the Realm are coming back. Get in.
Classics.
Love the Knights. The Men at Arms, the Peasant Bowmen are coming back as well.
Which they hold up.
They do.
They're
great.
They were great. They were released towards the end of in terms of
I think
model,
were they
releases.
were they 6th or 7th? No, 7th edition. I think they were. Yeah.
The Peasant Bowmen, it is so you do get 32 in a box, which says to me that they are aiming for people to play this as a game. If you're gonna get Space Marine army, you're probably gonna want to buy 10 units of intercessors, for instance. Maybe not now, but back in the day. So why not buy the whole lot in one box, I guess. So you get 32 watch in the box. You've got the Handmaid of the Lady, which is a new resin model. You've got the banner guy, the horse, banner guy on the feet. You've got the fellow with the antlers.
Yeah, Grey Knight.
Cut an orc's head off. Lady Alinda, is that her name?
No.
Elise.
No.
Lady Elise.
Yeah.
Lady Elise. And then finally the Field Trebuchet.
With dog.
Which is
With dog.
With
dog.
trebuchet
There's a
little
dog.
puppy on there.
There's a little dog,
Somewhere.
which is very
Don't
cool.
accidentally fire him in the trebuchet.
Yes.
Will you wait, Servo Skull?
I think we need to get back to the super chats and
Okay.
wrap this up because in 20 minutes, our brand new video is coming out.
Yay! Cool. Well, that was Old World.
You guys are super hyped about it,
Yes.
and we will be filming a live Arena of Blood as to who's actually going to have the Bretonnians, because you want them, Fletch wants them, you want some.
Well, I'm going to go the Empire. I'll let
I mean,
them.
I might
I'll
have
probably
a
do
little
Bretonnian
idea
army
brewing
later on.
to do with Bretonnians.
You've got a very cool
which
idea.
might involve.
But either way, we will be covering Old World on its release, and if it's popular, then we'll continue to cover it. Then we'll just see what happens,
Magic missiles. Right. Super chat. Mario Roman. Hi guys, I grew up in Costa Rica and didn't know anything about the hobby until I found your channel. I'm new in the hobby, but Dante is my fave model.
Yeah!
You're saying all the things right there, Mario.
There you go.
What a legend.
Made a new friend.
Hey! By the blood.
Our mate, somebody borrowed Typer's back.
Back again!
It's a very specific request, but he wants me to say, Truckosaurus! There you go.
There you go.
I love having you around. You're a good fun.
Don't go anywhere.
Legion 9 Hispana's back as well. If we are still talking about fave models, the new Farsight is amazing. Can't wait to see Fletcher painted one. Don't think it's been shown off yet. I don't think he's got a Farsight.
He
has.
used it in a game against me.
Yeah, I think
on demand.
Yeah,
if
he's
you
got a Farsight. No, yeah, he painted it free.
Yeah, it's Farsight versus Tyranids.
Yeah. Russell Pinner, thoughts on Necromunda releases, squats and...
Well, there's the new squat.
Yeah.
There's a squat
New
crawler out
squat crawler
today.
It looks really cool.
thing.
There's like a tank track thing that
yeah.
actually looks good.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh my
It's
I mean,
really
it's
cool.
Necromunda models.
Yeah.
So
It's
basically,
always good.
Necromunda is to 40k what Fantasy is to 40k, which is like they're just so much better. The models. because they can go. Let's go wild.
I have to say.
There's a squat guy with a massive gun smoking a pipe.
Yeah.
Not a cigar, a pipe.
Yeah.
It's like a lunar module thing he's driving
That
around.
to me, that is far more interesting than Leagues of Votan.
Yeah,
Because it's just more interesting.
They gave more cigars. I'd be back
Be on
in.
board.
more cigars. Right, Void Bears. That's a very
Void
generous super chat. Thank you very much, Void Bears. Only come on to tell Lawrence that Fenris shall always stand.
Void Bears. It should be Void Wolves, shouldn't it? Speaking of voids, that's what should have happened to Fenris. I just came up with that on the spot. You're welcome.
Also, as you'll keep being
Should
the
have become a
bosses that you are.
crusading fleet. Russ returns. It makes
It wouldn't have
sense.
been crusading, it would have been raiding.
Yes, on their long ships like real Vikings, not woof wolves.
30k Space Wolves are 10 times better than 40k Space Wolves.
They're Vikings in
Because
space.
they're Vikings.
I
Now
say
they're
this
just like
because
Wolf boys.
I
like Blue
like
Dreams.
Space Wolves.
I want
say
to
this
like
because
Space
it would
Wolves.
be cool.
It's a hot take. I think that in 10th edition, I think Space Wolves going to get a big redo.
Yeah,
I think,
they need it,
I
really.
think Dangle's going to get a big review.
Yeah, well, also they need it because they've got so many, still firstborn units.
small bikes now in comparison to the Outriders.
Yeah.
And
Likewise,
like the Deathwing Knights,
Blood,
they're
Blood Angels need a redo as well, then,
Yeah.
by the same token.
Sanguinary Guard.
Dante is about 8 feet taller than the average Sanguinary Guard. He's up to his shin.
What are you doing there, little boys? War Hipster's in the house. Hello, War Hipster. He says, I have dragons who'd like to meet them on the battlefield.
That's how dragons.
And that brings us to the end of our super chat. I thought there were loads, Katie. You're waving
There's
your
another
arms
one.
around like a maniac.
Oh, there's another
one. Brendan Duffy.
Hello, Brendan.
Big up yourself, Brendan Duffy. Any thoughts on what to expect from the Chaos Space Marine release? I'm hoping for new Raptors / Warp Talons and a Lord with Jump Pack. Hoping it's not
with
that's not a
Jump
big
Pack.
ass.
You
So-
need one,
We
don't
were
you?
talking about this the other day.
We were. So my prediction for Chaos Space Marines is that it's going to be a new kit to replace the current Terminator Lord and Terminator Sorcerer.
Yes.
Because it looks old and there's new Terminators now. I don't know about the Raptors. Like if they
Do you not like the Raptors?
No, I
The
do.
Raptor
I think
kit?
the Raptors are fine. I think that new Raptors wouldn't be necessary.
Yeah.
What is necessary is a new Defiler. For goodness sake, that is such
Yeah.
a derpy model.
Yeah.
And that it would then add another demon engine in. I think at that point the range is sort of fine.
I would like to see a multi-part obliterator kit, which made another unit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not the.
You still
what was it?
can't
What
buy
was
them
the first
separately.
one called? No one ever
Well,
said.
they're
Mutilators.
gone now.
They're in
not even-
Legends.
They're not
They're
even
not there,
Legends.
but
I
I
don't
mean,
think they're
if-
even Legends, are they? Oh no, they are.
They are in Legends, yeah.
Just a kit you can buy for a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, still, you've never been able to buy them.
That and a Venom
I know.
Force.
Why can you run them in units of 4? You can only get 2 of them.
I know it's bonkers. I know.
Dumb.
It makes no sense. Also, just give me a Chaos Drop Pod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe
it's
as well-
just easy money for Chaos Drop. It's just
Maybe as well.
just put some spikes on it if you have to.
Yeah, Chaos
Everyone
Bikers.
will buy it.
Chaos Bikers are an old kit.
Yeah, they really need it. They're 3rd edition kit.
Oh, some
Yeah.
new Chaos. Ooh,
Chaos Bikers would be cool.
that could turn me to
Not a floating one, please.
No.
No, yes, a floating one. Yes.
What?
No wheels.
They should have grab bikes.
Yeah,
Because
grab
That's,
bikes
yeah,
is
when
the
I
one.
said bikes shouldn't exist in 40k, I would make them grav bikes. Wheeled bikes don't
Hot
make
take.
any sense.
If you're gonna have a bike, just have a bike. Don't have a hover bike. Just
I'd
walk
have a
on
hover
feet
bike.
with your big gun. You're a space marine.
I now want to see a Chaos Space Marine on a pedal bike.
Yeah.
Little penny farthing.
Or I'm on board with demonic mounts.
Yeah.
Oh,
School 3.5 style.
what was it
stuff.
we were talking about the other day?
Chaos
Imagine
Marines on Juggernauts and all that sort of
Yeah, that would be for World
I
Eaters,
feel
I
that they
reckon.
should be exclusive. Like I'd want to see Plague Marines on
Snuggle.
Plague Toads?
Plague Toads.
Yeah.
I'd want to see the
Berserkers on Juggernauts.
Berserkers on Juggernauts. I'd like to see
Marines on discs.
Well,
Thousand Suns
for the
on
Thousand
discs.
Suns, I think
Kind of
that's where you would
already have
introduce
that
the
in a way.
Rentari.
Yeah, right, cool.
The twin swordsmen. It's like, what do? They fly around just.
That'd be cool.
People,
And then for Emperor's Children, when they inevitably happen, they're all on not steeds, but do you remember the old snakes?
Yeah.
Those,
They do.
like they're on like big snake
mounts would be cool.
demon things.
Be very cool.
Snakes. A couple more before we finish up. Melinda Phantom. That's cool. name.
Great
Very cool
name.
name.
Much love to y'all. World hype, baby.
Yeah.
World hype.
World hype.
Thank you.
Old world hype. Exactly.
We agree. We are.
World hype. World hype. That's what I meant. Fletcher wants a. Fletcher
already
says he
told
wants
him
a
to go back
werewolf
to
Primarch for us. And finally, the final one for today. Another first-time super chat.
Yes.
From Fragoloni.
Another great name. We've had
Fragile
such
one,
good
beard.
names.
Fragoloni
Fragile
one.
one.
What?
What?
Fragile one.
How did you make Fragile One Fragoloni?
It's Fragoloni
Don't
now.
question me.
Fragoloni. Fragoloni.
How did you do that?
I'm hungry. I could go for some Fragoloni at home. Understanding the type of game you want is massive. When someone says they want a casual game, you turn up and they have the latest tournament, it can kill the enthusiasm locally. That's correct.
concur.
Thank you, Fragoloni, for your very first super chat. And that's probably going to be us for today.
I think because it's 10-2, we've got a couple minutes.
Okay.
I think we should allow Beard, please, gush about Old World. Gush about you Bretonians.
I mean, it's very okay. I barely remember when I used it when I was a kid. I don't remember in my mind's eye like being there and experiencing it. But there's something there that fills me with great joy, and they were just something about them which was so magical because they were just knights riding around on horses, going on quests and stuff. I love going on quests. It's my
Quests
favorite.
are very fun.
So I think that the nostalgia part of me, my inner child, is absolutely delighted that they're coming back and sort of being like the poster boys again because they were on the fifth or sixth edition.
Yeah, because that was 5th edition was.
I still remember that amazing
Rats and Lizards, wasn't it?
that Bretonian lord with his little spiral lance.
Yeah.
Getting in on the action and spearing some lizards. So it's so exciting to see it coming back. And I just remember being a kid and like looking at all of them with their like cool helmets and their shields and how everything was a different color. They were all knights of their household and they all came together to wage war on all the fools.
Well, I can gush about it too.
Go on then.
But and give you a little answer to your who's it for? Yeah, is it a specialist game? Is it for veteran players? Will they attract new players? Ultimately, no one really knows the answer to that until it's really released. But what I can say is, and this again, why it can't really be compared to, you can't compare it to Heresy, you can't compare it to anything else, because it is so individual. It will be the return of a rank and file game.
Very true.
It will be the return of, by all accounts, going by the developer's diary, they're not going to change the wheel completely. It seems that they're going to be building upon what previous editions have done, according to the developer's diaries. Again, this is a Warcom article.
We'll see.
We'll see when the actual rules are released, whether it's a 200-page book or whether actually it's down to 25 or whether it's much simpler than that. We shall see. So I won't comment on that, but what I will comment on is that we know that it's going to be rank and file. It is visually strikingly different to any other game that Games Workshop produces. By definition of its rank and file, the gameplay mechanics will be strikingly different to any other game that Games Workshop produces because the movement rules are going to be very different right out of the gate. And what I can tell you is, playing 2 editions of Fantasy previously, but knowing it all the way up from 2nd edition 40k, which back then was 4th edition Fantasy I came in at, I believe. The game was awesome. It was awesome because it just had all of the cool things that you'd want from fantasy games. Like, magic dice pools, the winds of magic, all this sort of jazz, the movement that you would expect from rank and file combats and great melees that, would smash ranks and you'd remove models. There is a great, there will be a great appeal, I think, to the gameplay. What will be interesting is the points and what the buy-in will be. And I concede that point. We won't know until they release it. But I think if they get that part right, they will attract a lot of new players because people that want that from a fantasy game will get that over the alternative, which is Sigmar. It's as simple as that. If they get the points wrong and they make it very expensive, then I suspect it will become the veterans specialist game, which, you know, is actually what Heresy really is.
It's a weird one with the rules as well, because it's like they need to get those right because it is markedly different.
Yeah,
like,
it is. It's very different to whatever else they produce.
Do you think it's going to be like almost off-putting in a way?
No, I think what I was trying to do is
you've got a lot. You've got
customer thing. I think.
Because you've got a lot of people that play 40k that play Age of Sigmar, and then it's like, okay, that's great, you've got all this freedom, you don't get that.
That's right.
It's like, ow.
That's right. I think I would venture that there are a lot of people that love the idea of a fantasy war game or playing a fantasy game, but want it to feel a little bit more like what we would expect from an historical game, which is that rank and file. Just how many people are like that, time will tell when they release it. But I really do believe it will stand on its own merit. It has to, because it's incomparable. It's just incomparable to anything else GW produced.
I think both Kings of War and the Game of Thrones game have been relatively popular, and them.
Song of Ice and Fire is a very popular game.
And that's rank and file, isn't it?
It's rank and file.
So
it's a very popular game.
Maybe GW
and Kings of War has filled the void that Warhammer Fantasy left, which is probably why, let's face it, Games Workshop are re-releasing it, because they're like, I do not want to lose all of my sales.
You're playing those games. Why don't you just play ours?
Exactly. You know, so there are business reasons why it's returned. Well, let's see if the customers.
I just want to see the two Kings, please. Maybe that's why I'm just not like feeling this announcement.
Yeah, you're a two Kings
I need Skelly Bobs.
Very good. Right, I'm going to do the last few because a few have snuck through before we head off. Martin K. Bretonia is a new chance for Beard to be Lady Beard, correct?
Yeah, sure.
For the Lady Beard!
Yes.
Follow me, boys! Silver Stout, hey TTT, just want to thank you guys for inspiring me to do something that has really increased my enjoyment of the hobby, naming all my characters. Now all my units have names. Send help.
Yes.
Good on, Nigel. Good in there.
Thanks. Well done.
Need help.
Narek says, don't forget Warhammer World releases early 2024, can't wait. And the 40k Punk says, when you do events, brackets, can't wait. Any tease on whether you're thinking tournaments or more narrative type events, or why not both? Why not both?
Because we've got an event venue to do that.
Why not both? Right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us on today's live stream. A reminder that going forwards, Mondays at 4 p.m. is the new time that we release our YouTube battle reports. So from this moment on, it's 4 p.m. on Mondays. Monday, Monster Trucks, Table of Tactics, Monday Nitro, Monday Rory's War.
Monday night mashup.
Exactly.
With TT.
Monday.
Exactly.
Grab a beer, grab a cup of tea, and the battle report will be out in like what, 5-10 minutes?
Don't grab a beer if you're in America, because it'll be like
it's like 7 a.m. Don't do that.
Do it anyway. Treat yourself. It's Monday, baby. So thank you for being with us here today. Thank you to Mr. Bard, to Mr. Chef, to Mr. Spider, and Jinx, and the ones and twos.
Boop.
I've been Chaos Lord Beard. I am unable to end this stream, so I'm hoping that Katie can from afar. We'll see you very soon. Thank you to everyone for the super chats, and we'll see you all very, very soon. Bye.